All right, welcome in North American College Championship Day number 4, live from Seattle, Washington. I am Evans Clinchey, joined by Matt Canick. Matt, good morning. How's it going?
Oh, it is going so good. I am so excited for this matchup. Both of these guys are so fun to watch. And just like all weekend, there are so many talented Scrabble players we've been able to feature, but we are down to our final four today. The
Final
stream,
four.
the stream is going to bring us the entirety of Dave Wiegand versus Kolton Koehler. They'll be playing a best of three. So the first to two wins will get it. We'll show you all two or three of these matches. And should this one go to just two games and the other semifinal matchup goes to three, we'll bring you the third game from over there. But this is going to be really exciting, high level Scrabble. Dave Wiegand has won the opportunity to go first as he has an absolutely ridiculous record. And as the one seed, he'll go before Kolton. And let's see what he draws. AACEJI. And what's that last tile? Another vowel. Not a lot of help there. What do you see in form, Evans? A G?
Yeah, a G, a Cia keeping the J. Not a lot of great options. This is kind of a funky rack to start off for Dave. And it looks like Colton has drawn not much better with the F and the Q and yeah, a bunch of weird stuff. So this might be kind of a slow start for both players.
Yeah, slow start for both players, but I doubt we'll see a slow finish. Both of these guys, no strangers to scoring just a boatload of points in their games.
Absolutely.
So a G, A, J, E, E, I think going to be the opening here for Dave. AECIA, potentially another option. He's maybe looking to try to set up his J by dropping the A in a situation where he could play JA overlaps next turn. A play
Yeah,
like
that looks interesting.
ACI might let him do that, ACAI.
Looks like he's got a G lined up and he's thinking about it. So just to update you guys on the format of this tournament, we are down to our final four players vying for the $3,000 top prize and title of North American College Champion. So what you're watching right here is the 1 seed versus the 4 seed in the playoffs. Colton finished fourth in the first 24 games and Dave first. The other side of the bracket is the 2 versus 3, and that would be Kevin Fraley, who finished in second place, and Austin Shin, who finished third. Austin got in at the last minute with a win over Rob Rabinski in the final round. And so he is in the playoffs as well. So looking forward to seeing who wins that match between Kevin and Austin and wins the right to face the winner of Dave and Colton in the finals.
Yeah, Austin was not having a good tournament. I kept checking his standings and I'm like, well, he's just close enough and he is such a strong player. Nobody would be surprised if he's able to make a run late. And that's exactly what he did to sneak his way on in. But no
Yeah,
shortage of talent there.
I think he was like 6-2 on the first day, and then he kind of like fell back to the middle of the pack on day 2. So just a really up and down and kind of back up again tournament for Austin.
But that's how Scrabble goes. Scrabble give it, then Scrabble take it the way. And take it the way is what it's done for Kolton here. He's got a tough choice to make. Afro plays beneath a G, making J, A, E, F, and E, R for 25 points, but the leave there, O, O, Q, is absolutely devastating for Kolton and is going to lead to fewer points next turn. I would exchange here, and Kolton has agreed to do the same thing. What are your thoughts on that, Evans? Play through or exchange?
I tend to be a playthrough kind of guy, but that was a pretty rough rack. There isn't much you can do with it. I think you got no choice.
Maybe you could consider exchanging, 5 or 6, holding onto that R, maybe the A as well, but it's very close and more a stylistic decision. Colton's going to go deeper into the bag, go looking for a blank or some tiles that'll help him overlap on this board. And we're back over to Dave, 22-0. Opponent unable to make a word on the first turn, and AACEIWY. Still some garbage on Dave's rack, but he'll have scoring options. Yaw and away each play beneath a G, making that JA overlap. Yaw, YAW is 30. Away is 28. You have a preference between those plays, Evans?
I was just being distracted by this notion that Colton didn't hit his clock. So
I think the director is certainly able to go make that. It's Conrad.
yeah, I was sending a message to our director group chat about just that. That I believe you're allowed to hit the person's clock for them if they forget to do so. And I see Conrad in the background standing up to look at what's going on. Colton definitely exchanged. There are new tiles on his rack, so there's no other explanation than he forgot to hit his clock. I don't know.
Yeah, I know last time we saw there was a clock debacle. It was a procedural issue where there was a challenge and then the wrong player's clock was started. This seems like Colton just forgot. So perhaps the rule's a little bit different.
Yeah, I think that the specific rule in the rulebook Conrad found last time was about improper challenging procedure. And because this isn't a challenge, different case. Oh, he just saw it. Okay.
Okay.
And he's like mad at the clock, but nah, man, it's your fault. Yeah, I think he just didn't touch it.
If you're Kolton, you've just got to get out of your own head. You saw him shaking, like, oh man, I could have used that time, but you can't let it get to
Yeah.
you. You just got to keep playing your best game as you sit through another terrible rack.
At least he got that blank though.
It does have that blank. This is where you wish the players could do a little switcheroo, as Dave been fighting through vowels, and Kolton now did not find what he was looking for after the exchange. He's probably also thinking, man, maybe I should have held onto that A last turn. This sucks. But he did find the blank, crucially. So maybe that extra tile he turned over was the one he needed to draw that blank out of the bag. So Kolton's options now almost all play through the E and a G and utilize that N tile to backhook yaw to make yawn. He's got blend, B-L-E-N-D, but that's sort of a reckless option. Blend's got at least 2 backhooks I'm aware of, both an E and an S, and you're just asking Dave to crush you. So perhaps a play like blend instead would be a more defensive option for Kolton to make here.
Ooh, but he's thinking offense, it looks like.
Whoa. Okay, so blend with the E and the S backhooks is going to be the play, and Dave has a bunch of vowels for the third turn. He does have 2 of those E's, but I'm not seeing any high scoring options. Just something like ice and blend is about all he can do, right?
I guess so, yeah. Lucky for Kolton that he tries a risky move at a time when it is in fact not that risky given Dave's rack.
Actually, I think I might know why we saw Kolton play blend instead of blend. There are front hooks to blend, but not to blend.
Ah.
So maybe, he doesn't want to set up the front hook and he opens up 2 back hooks instead. Not sure there, but definitely a reckless, no, I wouldn't say reckless, but a very, very aggressive option for Kolton. And Dave going to be unable to punish hard. Ice or Eco, or perhaps just OE, but all of Dave's good options will utilize NE to knock out the blend spot. And Dave gets to play a little bit of poker here as well. What does a play like blend from Kolton indicate? He's just exchanged 7, so he didn't leave anything on his rack the previous turn. But this turn, you play 4 consonants through an E with the crazy setup. To me, this screams Kolton had 6 consonants and a blank. Yep. Likely one of the consonants is an S. But if it was, he might have just put that S on. So I've got him pegged on consonant, consonant, blank as a leave, or maybe 3 consonants.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 3 consonants, like an NRT kind of situation. So not necessarily a blank, but certainly you're aware of the blank possibility if you're Dave here.
Dave is going to knock out the huge BLENDE spot, which knocks out Fixated for Kolton, which would have played 100 points. Kolton's still going to be able to play the bingo here, but at a slightly lower score after Dave knocks out the spot. So a big gamble for Kolton, and it's going to pay off huge dividends. Fixated, the only playable bingo for Kolton. He also has a 60-point non-bingo available, so he may not pull the trigger here. Faxed and FICE is 60 points, holds T blank. Fixated here is 89, so the 29-point difference. This is actually a sneaky hard turn for Kolton, and I would not play the bingo in this situation, but Kolton disagrees. He's going to take his quick 89 points and jump ahead of Dave Wiegand, 107 to 80.
Can't blame Kolton for just keeping it simple and taking the high-scoring bingo right away. But certainly in a situation like this where you're facing Dave Wiegand with a bunch of money and glory on the line, you kind of – it's easy to have nerves about making a move that's a little bit risky, and you kind of want to just keep things simple. At least that's how I would feel in this situation.
This is the problem with the play like Fixated, though. Where you position that X, it is so easy for Dave to destroy you with an overlapping play on top. And Dave somehow has found even more vowels, so he's not going to have great options. But even just a sad word like VIAE plays on top of Fixated for 38 points. So you've given Dave big bailouts, and I think that's why a play like Faxed might have been better here. It's a lot harder for Dave to score after Faxed. So this is a decision I think going back and looking at could be the swing in this game, as Dave now gets 3 points out of a rack that really shouldn't be scoring much at all. VIAE is 38. Another option is EAU above fixated for 28.
Okay, so he's not getting like terribly, terribly crushed by that X spot. 28 is a normal score for a Scrabble turn.
But
Although I
when you
suppose
have AAEIOUV, 28 is a cloud 9 for you.
that's a good point. It looks like Dave does have VIAE lined up and ready to go. All right.
I mean, you never want to hold AOU on your rack. That's got to be, just a terrible, terrible lead for next turn. But 38 points, knock out the hot spot. You've got to make this play if you're Dave. Hold your breath and hope he finds some consonant for the first time this game. Let's see if he's able to do it on this big draw.
Let's see. Not a great draw for Kolton either.
Oh,
he's 2/3 of the way to being able to spell Kolton.
Kolton's got those R's, or all three of those O's that he had on turn one. They're all back.
We were talking at dinner last night about the 8-letter words you can make with Kolton and 2 blanks. They're pretty fun. I believe there are 3 answers. Put that quiz to the chat.
And if that's the kind of a dinner time conversation that gets you going, what kind of 8-letter words can you spell with the letters in your name? Then competitive Scrabble is the place for you. You really ought to come out and play some of these tournaments with us.
Yeah, come meet your fellow dorks, you dorks.
Yeah. Kolton's got a sick overlap here. Rotor with 5 overlaps is a good way to play through these terrible racks of R's, O's, and score 25 points in the process. Blender and Rook was another option, and given the aggression we saw from Kolton earlier, he's not been consistent with his style, but I do love this play of Rotor. It's just it just fits beautifully. Get rid of that low-scoring junk, and that K might get you some points next turn. And we're back to Dave. God, more vowels, 2 U's, a G, and an O on his rack. I mean, you can't expect AOU to lead to a good rack, but another U and a G is not what he was looking for. I think he's got a bailout with a play like guano, very useful word, GUANO. Plays with OB at the top with blend. It's only 18, but if you're Dave, you just got to fight through the storm one more time, I think.
Yep, not much else you can do. It's pretty brutal.
Some players are more partial to a play like Luau, Luau, from that Ellen blend. That is just 5 points. But if you want to keep a bingo prone leave, it's an option for you as well. EGON. If you pick up an I, ING bingos are an option. If you pick up an R, that's got some synergy as well. But 5 points, I don't know, man. I think you've got to play longer. I think you've got to play guano here, score some points now, take the lead back.
Yeah, I don't think that a play like Luau, just really, really going for lead and sacrificing points, is in line with Dave's style at all. We've talked this weekend a lot about how Dave is a fearless kind of player. And I think one manifestation of being fearless is being willing to make plays that blow up your promising leave and just trusting that you can draw something else next turn and figure out later what to do, even if your leave isn't perfect. Dave's going to take the points and not be afraid to venture into an uncertain draw situation.
He's got to here, and he will.
And he's just not a 5-point play kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yes. And 5-point plays are bingo or die. And some players live that way. They're so hard to play against because, well, if you drew it, there's nothing I can do. And if you didn't, you're just going to roll over and die this game. But Dave, I think, knows he's the overdog in this game. He is a monster. He's maybe the best Scrabble player in North America. And he's going to take the lower variance option and just try to get through this rack, take some points. Let's see if he can find consonants or if this bag is going to run out of vowels completely by mid-game. Oh, God, Dave.
Ooh, chat's pointing out that now the clock is stopped. What's going on with the clock this game? This is the second time.
What were these players doing last night that they can't remember to hit their clock appropriately?
Yeah, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Certainly not going out drinking. They would never.
Dave Wiegand, Kolton, drinking? No.
Oh, okay. We got a clock issue. Something just flickered out for a second.
I'm wondering if this is our stream then. Maybe there's a loose cable or something and we're only getting a periodic update.
Could be.
It seems to be running now, though.
Okay. People are saying the live clock is working. It's just the stream. That's the issue. Kolton's saying, okay, Gramp, making fun of us.
Okay, boomer is the joke chat has made, and I love it. I'm here for it. He has some ridiculous and awesome words out of this rack.
Pogmaker. Oh, Pogmark.
Pugmark plays through the U in Guano. Pugmark is 38. Gopuram, Gopuram, is 34 through that same U. And Perog plays through the ER at the bottom, making Pice on that triple word for 32. These are far and away Kolton's three best options. I've got them all neck and neck according to the computer, but Kolton has found one of them, Parag, which probably, I don't know, might be the strongest of the three options. AKMR is a good scoring leave, just maybe not on this board. We'll see how it pays off for him.
Yeah, it seems like both Pugmark and Gopuram kind of give back a lot of easy hotspots for your opponent, whereas Parog is a little bit tighter in that regard. So I think I like Parog quite a bit. And Kolton has drawn the second blank.
Very good, Kolton.
Yeah, good job. Is Mudlark a word? I want to say it is. Yeah, Mudlark. All right, we got an update on the other semifinal that's going on. We've got our special guests of Scott Jackson and Jason Katz-Brown on site annotating that one between Austin and Kevin. And it looks like Austin has jumped out to an early lead in game one. He's up 136-79. He bingoed with Strygate and then played a very heavy K play of Puke for 46. And then he drew the first blank after that as well. So Austin's in a good spot here in game one against Kevin Fraley.
Off to a big lead. That's how you want to start. Speaking of how you want to start, Dave is putting on a clinic on how not to start a game of Scrabble, draw every vowel at the same time. He's still at a loss for good options. Once again, he can make a mediocre scoring play. VIBE and OBE is 23, but the leave on that, OOU, 23 points to hold absolute garbage on your rack, but there's no other ways to get through this. Vogue, or its anagram VOUGE, played through the G in Parag for 9, holding BIO. Do you just exchange if you're Dave? This is so hard and so frustrating, and Dave's got to avoid getting in his own head. How would you get through this dreck, Evans?
You know, I was thinking about playing above from the A in Guano just because I feel like IOU is a slightly less terrible leave than OOU. And maybe you can, if you have IOU and you get lucky and draw some consonants, you might get through it. But not fun, not fun.
Does above take a back S, Evans?
I think it does, right?
Yeah,
did this happen between you and me? You're being a jerk.
I'm not sure. I don't know anything. I haven't studied Scrabble in 9 years, but I'm pretty sure it does. So that
I think there's a game where you busted out aboves against me, and I was punished for not knowing it. That sounds familiar.
It might have happened. I don't know. I do know you've never beaten me, so we'll just
yeah.
I've got to remind the stream of that any opportunity I can. Evans Clinchy complete scrub confirmed.
We already knew that.
But speaking of complete scrub, Dave's got, God, this is such a hard decision. Above, I totally agree. IOU looks way better. And yet, if I'm Dave, I'm looking at this board. No S's have been played yet. All 4 still unseen. Dramatically increases the odds that there's one on Kolton's rack right now, especially after a shorter 3-tile play. Kolton might be in range of a bingo, and S is in that range a lot of the time. So Dave can't like this play of above. He's going to throw back. I can't blame him for that at all.
Interesting. Never known Dave to pass up 20 points like that, but can certainly understand his reasons. So he trades 6, keeping the E. Seems pretty reasonable if you are going to trade to pick that trade. And it's back to Kolton, whose only bingo is Mudlark. This is one of those he's either going to find it or he's not situations, and if you're a Kolton fan out there, you're just going to hope he finds. Oh, he does see it. Okay, he's got Mudlark arranged on his rack.
He's got it set up. He's just going to make sure. I mean, this is one of those racks. It's a deep, low probability rack. You're going to make sure you don't miss a killer bingo through that A or through that U. Looks like he's also looking at Doomka as a non-bingo blended, and DUMKA plays for 37, but Mudlark is 75. I think that's too big a differential to pass up in this situation for Kolton. If you're confident on Mudlark, you've got to play it.
Yeah. I think he was just going to check the score, make sure it's not, within 30 or so. General rule of thumb in Scrabble is that keeping the blank is worth about 30 points, depending on a lot of other contexts like the shape of the board and what else you have in your leave and whatnot. But around 30 is the rule of thumb. Mudlark, those scores more than 30 points more than Dumka. It's 38 more, and also doesn't give your opponent an easy triple. So Mudlark is clearly the play here, I would say.
Yeah, awesome find from Kolton, demonstrating his word knowledge is deep and solid. And he's picked up both blanks early and cashed them in. He's now ahead 239 to 136, up over 100 points on Dave Wiegand. And stop me if you've heard this before. Dave is drawn into more vowels.
Yeesh.
So OWE and OBE, 19 points, but this is different. Instead of holding a terrible lead and scoring about 20 points, he's going to hold AES. And especially given how many vowels have already been played in this game, AES is looking all right for Dave as a leave. WAIDE, also an option through the D in Mudlark to work through this, or high scoring option of Awesome, AWESOME, or its anagram WASOME, WAESOME, both through the M and Mudlark for 28. Lots for Dave to think about here.
Certainly. All right, more updates from table 2. It looks like Austin has bingoed again against Kevin Fraley. He found the bingo with a blank L to a C. He found oliguric. Very nice find by Austin Shin in that game. But Kevin keeping it close. Austin's lead is only 247 to 223, up by 24, with still a long way to go in game 1. So a competitive game over there.
And we will keep you posted on updates periodically, as we've got 2 different semifinals going on, and I'm sure a lot of players at home rooting for a lot of these different folks.
Yeah, all 4 great guys. I would happily root for any of the 4 of them. I'm not going to play any favorites. I'm just looking for a really great couple of matches here.
Agreed. And hopefully we find them. Dave's, I think, about to pull the trigger. Here comes OWE. Gives back some big overlaps sometimes, but those overlaps open up the right side of the board. And with that S in hand, Dave's got to feel good about trying to get lines open, especially facing this deficit. I like this play.
Yep, I like it a lot. Now see if he can draw decently for once in his life. Come on, Dave. Well, I shouldn't say once in his life. He drew very, very, very well on day 2.
I was going to say, Dave, if you draw a bingo, I'll buy you a beer, but I feel like that's unfairly influencing the tournament. As you know, Dave would immediately draw a bingo. Nothing motivates him more.
Also, he can afford his own beer. He's getting a lot of money from this tournament, even if he finishes 4th. So,
yeah, tell us about the money in this tournament.
Yeah, so the grand prize these guys are playing for is $3,000 US. Ooh. And the other prizes are numbers that I can't remember right now. So I'm going to pull up my spreadsheet, and okay, here they are. So the person who finishes runner-up, who loses the final match this afternoon, will get $1,500 for second place. And then there will be a third place match where the winner gets $750 and the loser gets $450. So definitely a drop-off. You want to get that $3,000, but there's going to be at least a decent chunk of change for all 4 of these guys in the end: Dave, Kolton, Austin, and Kevin.
Even $450 is a lot of beer, and there's a lot of good beer in Seattle, Washington, where these folks all are right now. So happy ending to all 4 of these guys' tournament, despite what happens today.
Kolton Dave's trying to heavy bingo. He's got gray size from the G at the bottom. That's going to score, I can't do math right now, but like 95 or something?
Oh,
92?
86.
Some number, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like Kolton is going to block that, unless there's some way to block it.
Kolton's got a really nice option here of Bohrium, BOHRIUM, down to 8. That is so hard to spot. But, this chemistry tutor and pharmacist is always about trying to find those elements when you can.
One of your fellow chemists was almost a finalist in this tournament. Rob Rubinski was playing also for the spot in the final round. Rob is always talking about different chemistry words in Scrabble, and some of them are good, some of them are phony that he's upset are phony because they're actually valid in real life. Definitely
many of them, yeah. It's incredibly frustrating just over and over having your chemistry words not actually be valid. Kolton
it seems like there's no rhyme or reason to which ones are good and which ones aren't.
Yeah, exactly right. But so much of Scrabble is that just which of these words that end in ATE take a D or an S or nothing. You've just got to have that extra level of obsession to memorize these lists, which chemicals are and aren't good. which take a D behind them. Can you oxalate something? Can you nitrate something? There's a lot of these questions, and you never know when they're going to come up. Why hasn't Dave played his bingo yet?
I was wondering the same thing.
This is not good. Dave's going to miss it, isn't he?
I don't think he's going to miss it. He's just taking his time to find it. Gray size is the only bingo possible here, so he does need to find it. If he does find it, he's back in this game. It's 270 to 247 after the bingo if he plays it. So this will be close, assuming that Dave finds his bingo, which he almost always does.
I would be shocked if Dave misses it, but we'll point out the fatigue factor right now. This has been a very long tournament. This is day 4 of just an incredible field. There are no gimmies. There are no buys. There are just a lot of very solid players in this room. So mental fatigue definitely going to be a factor here. Kolton has drawn the very appropriate blunting. It'll play for a ton if Dave misses grease size. It'll play on the top for a significantly lower score if Dave does, in fact, find his highest scoring option here.
Wow, that's a huge swing for Kolton, getting a bingo in 2 spots that Dave can't do anything about. So Kolton's going to be over 300 next turn guaranteed. Long catch-up game here for Dave to get back into it.
He's found it. He's playing.
Yay!
For Dave, job, Dave. As if there was ever any question, says the guy who questioned it.
He has missed bingos on table 1 before, but, he's going to find more than 99% of them, I would say.
Yeah, I watched him miss one that was like very high prob, and it's like, whoa. This is going to give back a better bingo to Kolton, so hopefully he doesn't rush down to the E now. He'll have an 83-point option as a counterplay, and that's going to make this an uphill struggle for Dave, as this pool no longer has any blanks, so that's going to decrease how many options he's going to have. Also running light on vowels. Well, no, not really. I guess Kolton's drawn a lot of consonants. Oh, Kolton, no!
Yeah, it's so easy to miss a play like bunt line when you've already arranged on your rack a different bingo and you've got it ready to go. But yeah, you should have taken a moment to slow down and look at that E that David just given him. Yikes.
Ouch. So a miss by Kolton, a blundered opportunity, but he is still in commanding position, 333 to 247 after the bingo. And Dave has not found the most inspiring rack out of the bag, but this bingo's, and he's found it.
Dave certainly knows the word stoutly. I think we can say that he stoutly had some beers last night.
He stoutly had some stouts last night. If I had
That's what I couldn't word the pun correctly, but you know what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
How's the weather up there in Seattle? Is it stout weather yet?
Yeah, most of the year round it is.
Fair enough.
Pretty cold and wet out there.
I would be even more obese if I lived there, man. Those beers are so good.
Looks like Kolton has drawn Valier. Oh, he's got liveries into the E and gray size.
Wow.
So Stoutly is going to block liveries. Gotcha. Chat. Thanks, you. Yeah.
Kolton's still going to have 39 pointers down to the R in row. He can pick pretty much anything he wants. So even after Stoutly comes down, Dave will pull within 18, and then Kolton's going to jump back up over 50. But we do have a game on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave's just one bingo away from getting back into it, I would say.
And I mean, we saw a bunch of terrible tiles get drawn earlier, and this is what tends to happen when all the bad stuff gets drawn early. We saw bingo, bango, bongo, and here's number 4 in a row for these players. And Kolton would have 5 with the right floaters available. So all the good stuff left in that bag. Also, that Q could be a Trojan horse or an absolute godsend. Look at where the I in blunting is. QI right there is a bingo. And so Kolton now has to think, do I block the Q? Do I play 5 tiles and try to draw the Q? This is deceptively hard, because if Dave draws QI right now and Kolton doesn't address it, Dave takes the lead next turn. Where's that Q? Is it on Dave's rack? Or is it? Ooh.
Looks like neither a Q nor a bingo. That's a tough break for Dave, yeah.
Man.
Interesting unseen tile pool here. Q still out there, Z still out there, all sorts of fun stuff.
And this board, not quite as closed as it looks. I didn't notice this, but OBES has that sneaky E back hook, obese.
You mean the word that
So,
you just used in conversation like 1 minute ago?
the one that I just used in conversation 1 minute ago is the one that I didn't see over the Scrabble board. So luckily,
Nice.
Colton probably listening to the stream uh, and heard me say that word and will find it. Just kidding. Of course, Colton is not listening to the stream. That would be cheating.
And I doubt that he can hear me because I'm on the 34th floor of the building. So
You are obnoxiously loud, but not quite that obnoxiously loud.
right back at you, buddy.
Hey, all right. Big decision, man. So the Q spot available up top. Chat also pointing out a big Z spot at the bottom of the board above grease eyes. If I'm Colton, I have neither. Dave just drew 7 tiles. Ooh, both of them would crush me. Which one do I block, if either? Or do I go digging and try to draw one myself? Or this is a surprisingly hard turn for Colton to formulate a plan of attack for the rest of this game. And this is way above my pay grade. This is far too hard. And I wish we had somebody smart to tell us what to do. Maybe I can lean onto chat because this is very hard.
That was a savage burn. Looking for somebody smart. Can't talk to my co-commentator. Let's just look in chat. I see what you're doing there.
I think we've established, Evans, that you are quite the scrub, and I am no
That's
better.
fair. That's fair. I mean, I even lose to guys like Mechanics. So, yeah, I mean, I think that if you're Colton, your outlook has to be, look, there's 2 different big bombs, the Q and the Z. As long as I can draw one of the 2, I'm probably in decent shape. I just need to get not double bombed by Dave with the Q and the Z. And so by playing a play like Lever that digs into the bag for a lot of tiles, it increases your chances that you get at least one of those 2 tiles, if not both, and also scores 39 points.
So Colton, I think, is looking at playing. I don't know if he's looking at leave down to the R in row or leave and obese. Both are great options. Obese takes a back R. Colton has the case R. So that is that'd be a really nice way to set up some extra life on this board. But this game's going to come down to the Q and the Z, right? What are you setting up if you're Colton? Maybe a chance to draw bingo? You know, if you draw the Z, you're playing it at the bottom. You're not going to play Rez or Ritz in that spot. This is, oh my goodness, this is an incredibly complex turn. I think I like leave and setting up the R, but I think I like scoring 39 more because you can survive 1 bomb if you score 39 now. Colton does a lot of thinking and agrees with the assessment. 39 points, going to put him ahead. And we'll see now if he is able to draw the Q, which importantly he has held an eye for, or that Z, which is going to bomb if he draws an A, E, or O at the bottom of the board above the A and grease eyes.
Dave needed that L for either Spill Lion or Seaplane, but unfortunately he does not get it in open space.
Colton, looking, what are you going to draw? Q or Z is all but game over, I feel, though Dave could formulate some sneaky plans. He's stolen games hundreds of times probably in his career.
So we are waiting in suspense to see what Kolton draws here. I guess he's checking his tracking and whatnot before he gives us a look at those tiles. But here we go.
N.
And that's pretty good. Oh, you're giving us 1. Thanks, Kolton.
O.
An elaborate troll job here.
He's tracking them one at a time as he draws them to make sure he
Oh, you're right. He's using his pen. Yeah, you're right.
He's going to draw like Sordini or Endorsee. No, not quite. Nimrods. That's a self-descriptive word. Just kidding. It's an Evans descriptive word.
Descriptive of yourself? Yeah.
So looking at the unseen pool from Dave's perspective now, check that out. 8 tiles in the bag, 15 unseen, and a lot of garbage. 3 I's and an O are the only vowels unseen to Dave. And that Q and that Z, both terrifying, though the Z, not a threat to bomb Wiegand now, unless Kolton has both the Z and the O. So this is getting incredibly complex. I can't tell you how this one's going to end. That Q and the Z both in the bag. This is weird.
And the F and the H, just all sorts of funky letters you're going to get. It's a strange bag.
If you're Dave, you're sitting on bingo prone stuff. You know you're not drawing another A or another E, so fishing AE here looks deceptively solid, but you can't have Kolton pegged on a bingo right now. Like what? How are you going to bingo out of this garbage pool? So I wonder if Dave takes a shot and tries to open lines, or if he goes looking for that Q, if he plays defense from that Q. I think Dave's got to open this board again, and that's going to end up costing him the game, but a play like AYE through the Y and stoutly looks to be a good option for Dave that'll backfire immensely.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could backfire here. He could try apnea on the right side, parallel and stoutly, just to open things wide open, but that might be a little bit too crazy. But pretty much any word is going to... Actually, Neep is not bad. That backfires less than most.
I think this is good. Yeah, just score points, take away the Q option, and now maybe he can play for a Q stick if he doesn't draw it here too, or
Try
a
to
Q,
draw the Z.
maybe not
Drawing
a stick.
Z is important here.
Yeah, what is it? T is huge, H is huge, I, and a G. Okay, I don't think that bingos, but 8's possibilities for him, though I doubt he's going to find a floater from Kolton in this situation. Kolton has found Nimrods, but not going to be able to do anything with it. It has an anagram as well, Dormans, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, the Adam in chat asking, is Kolton forced to block the Z-bomb now? You know, I think a lot of Kolton's best equity plays do that anyway. Like if you look at how he can put the M on that hotspot in row 14 with a play like Doom, that's a really good play just for the straightforward points and leave of it. So why not do that and take out the Z-spot? Win-win.
I think you've got to play Room instead of Doom in the same spot. And the reason why is the A in Mudlark. You want to hold on to QAID bailouts.
Interesting.
Important. So if you're Kolton, Room looks to be a very good option at the bottom. If you draw the Q, you've got 2 bailouts. You've got QI above Grease Eyes. You've got Cade through the A in Mudlark. But Doom looks so obviously correct from an equity perspective. Leave 1 tile in the bag. Looks to do all the things you need to do, but that Q could be trouble after that play. Dave is going to be able to do some tracking, going to make a plan, try to limit your options with it. So Kolton needs to play Room here, in my professional opinion.
A lot of support for that opinion in chat. People are liking Room. Interesting play. Kolton is certainly thinking pretty hard before he commits anything this turn. Maybe he is going through the same thought process that you were there, realizing that Doom is not necessarily the best choice. He does have it lined up on his rack, but he's still thinking about it, it looks like.
If you play
Update
Room,
from the other match here. It looks like things have swung a little bit in favor of Kevin Fraley. Kevin drew the second blank and found a bingo of Peachers, ones that peach, for 101, and he's now taking an 80-point lead, 405 to 325. So Kevin Fraley back out in front there against Austin Shin in game 1.
Wow, what a comeback.
Yeah. All right, you were saying?
Just a lot of stuff. Chat's trying to figure out now if Kolton plays Doom, can he live a Z-bomb up at the top above Mudlark? ZA or ZE still possibilities on that triple letter score. Zowie also an option that can hit pretty hard with the Z, front hooking OWIE. So there's a lot of threats for Kolton. And of course, we know of the 4 tiles in the bag, what they are: Q, Z, F, I,
F, yeah.
So if Kolton plays Room and draws QZ, I don't know if that's even a good thing or a bad thing for him. Not having the Z, or drawing the Z, means Dave won't cash it, but then Kolton's going to end up eating either the Q or the Z if Dave can put together an out in 2 sequence.
I think as long as he doesn't get bombed really hard, he can afford to absorb a few points here. He does have a nice lead. So it looks like Kolton's still a favorite here, but it's going to be close. There's some speculation in chat saying that drawing the Q and the Z would be good here, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of dicey for you.
Drawing neither is also very good for you here. If Dave has both right now, then you can outrun him and force him to play one and eat the other, or play one and have a very underwhelming play with the other.
Yeah, very interesting. So Kolton now under 6 minutes on his clock. Both players using their time.
As they should. This has been a very challenging game. Dave's done a great job of keeping his odds alive despite just absolute dreck for many turns at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat about what's the difference between Doom and Room here. I think Matt covered that a second ago, saying that if you keep the D on your rack, you have a chance to play QADI if you draw the Q. It's a really important idea in Scrabble in general to always think about when there's a heavy tile, especially like a Q, still unseen at the end. Just have something in mind for like what happens if I draw it. What am I going to do?
Yeah, always
And
got to have the
giving that
bailout.
G is just kind of good advanced planning in that regard.
All right, so Kolton, Doom is his decision here. Let's see. This is going to be such a huge draw. I think drawing both QZ or neither of QZ are good. Drawing just Z, also fine for Kolton. Just Q and no Z is going to be very interesting. There's the Q.
There's the Q.
There's the Z.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
We are in for quite the end game, folks.
Wow.
He draws FQZ, leaving the I in the bag.
Oh my goodness.
And wow, what is going through his head right now? He's managing to remain, cool and collected to all outward appearances, but he's got to be freaking out inside. Like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
I mean, QI at the bottom is an option. He hasn't drawn an A or an E to hit ZA or ZE plays. He does have Zowie available. Dave has to figure out how he wants to approach this. He has one tile to draw, so you can go through these one-in-the-bag in-game situations and figure out, okay, if I draw the F, my opponent has these tiles on his rack. This is his next best play, and this is my outplay. If I draw the I, this will be my outplay. This is Kolton's best sequence. So Dave's got to find a play that I think allows him to go out in one next turn with the majority of these draws. He's going to have to say a prayer and just hope he doesn't draw the Q and eat it. And try to play aggressive, try to play long or set something up here and threaten to go out in just one move next turn, catching 20 points for either the Q or the Z off of Kolton's rack.
Being pointed out in chat that you might want to fish the H and try to get a bingo. And it turns out that he actually does get one. He's going to have Vestigia into the A and Guano. He will win with Vestigia if he fishes the H.
Oh my goodness. Well, assuming it doesn't get blocked, Kolton will have perfect knowledge of his rack.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's not a second spot to bingo, is there?
No, so a Gaieties doesn't quite fit out of that rack. You would have to open a line on the right side and also try to hit something on the left side.
And you're not going to have anything unblockable because Kolton also has the S, so.
How does Dave win this game? If he makes a play above Grease Eyes and knocks out the obvious QI play, you can force Kolton to hold on to the Q. Maybe he plays the Z next turn. I don't know. Can you force Kolton to play QI and OI next to Owie and then overlap him back? Fakir? Oh, Fakir plays as well through the A and Mudlark. That's killer.
Yeah, that's probably Kolton's best move here if he still has
QIN and Fakir are both about neck and neck, I'd say.
Yeah.
I wonder if Dave has to hope there's an S in the bag. He makes a play like OH for 5 from the O and Stoutly.
Oof.
I mean, that's a 1 in 8, but I think that's going to win. He'll draw Sagiest and OHS and just make Kolton's brain explode. So that's at least a 1 in 8 win for Dave, assuming I did that analysis correctly.
Getting a little bit low on time. 2.5 minutes to go. And he could have another hard turn next turn, so he can't just burn all of his time on this one. He should probably hurry up and choose something pretty soon. Yeah, it's pointed out in chat that Dave's been low on time a lot of games this tournament. It's true. He's normally a pretty fast player, but I think he's just had a lot of really difficult positions in this tournament. He's won a lot of games, but they have not been easy wins. They've been really hard-fought ones with a lot of tough positions like this one.
This is so hard for Dave. These are some of the most complex positions in all of Scrabble, especially with QZ unseen. He's got to be thinking about, and Kolton's last play too, he clearly didn't have either one. He would have played the Z if he had it, ZO. He would have played the Q almost definitely if he could have with the number of options available to play it. Cade, Fakir, QI options. So Dave, I think, can make a good degree of inference. Kolton didn't have them last turn, meaning there's a 50% chance he's going to pick up either a Q or a Z this turn. Of course, we know Kolton drew both.
Ooh, great call out by Adam in the chat saying that if the N were in the bag, hypothetically, you could fish the H and have 2 unblockable bingos. You would have Vintages and Sagenite. That's really nice.
Oh, if you play OHS and draw the N, or play OH and draw the N, you play OHS and Sagenite for a huge out bingo.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
So that's actually maybe 2-8. If the S might win for Dave, the N definitely does. So there's at least life. In the situations where you feel dead, you can always find a Hail Mary. We at home know what's in the bag. Dave doesn't. He's trying to play some poker, make some inferences, and figure out if he can salvage more than just a 1-8 or 2-8 shot. And of course, we're saying OH appears to win 1-8. Okay, if that N is in the bag, we've got to acknowledge it's not a true 1-8. Kolton hasn't drawn a random rack. Kolton left 4 tiles on his rack last turn. So 1-8 is probably closer to 1-12 or 1-15 because we know QZ are almost definitely 2 of the unseen tiles. Dave makes OH. I guess he can't find a better than a Hail Mary 1-8. He's going to draw the I. And this is going to make Kolton think very hard, but Dave's not going to have an out in 1 next turn. So Kolton's going to be able to play Fakir or another play and just got to make sure he's got an option to play.
No. He can't play Fakir. He's got to block Vestigia.
Oh, he's got to block Vestigia. Yes.
Yeah. This is very straightforward, Kolton. See Vestigia and block it and you win. Don't do that and you lose. I mean, yeah.
But you can't just block Vestigia. You have to play the Q or the Z here, right?
Yeah, I guess at this score, I guess Dave can come back and win if you don't play them, huh?
Oh, but Fizz or Frizz and FOU easily does it.
That's true. Okay.
Fizz gives you a second spot to play your Q that is pretty threatening. QI for 21 as a counter is quite nice. Not playing your I is scary, but you've got the I at the bottom of the board in Grease Eyes, and Fizz will string another one out. Zarfs is a game-losing play for Kolton. I don't think he sees Vestigia here.
Yeah, I'm starting to worry about that. He doesn't seem to be arranging plays that block it.
And how would you think with all these other bingo lines open with that big scary OHS spot and the E at the bottom of the board that Dave's going to bingo from the V? But I don't think Kolton sees it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be acting in a way that implies he's looking for blocking plays. He's just arranging words that score points.
And this is also too. Zarps and QIN is going to outrun any OHS play. There you go, Kolton. You've got to block Vestigia, and I think he sees it. I think.
Okay, yeah, Frizz and Foo is a great play. Just do that, and you're fine. Use the Z, score points, and block Vestigia, and you're just going to be fine.
Yeah, do Fizz. Make sure QI is 22 next turn instead of 11.
True. Yeah, now that he's got Frizz lined up, I'm feeling a little bit less nervous on Kolton's behalf. Zarfs would have been a problem. And he's going to, good. He's going to play Frizz. Good job by Kolton. That should be a game winner.
For those brand new to competitive Scrabble, it is not only allowed, it is almost expected that players at the top track the tiles. So you can see unseen on our display. Kolton knows exactly what is on Dave's rack, and it is kosher. It is not against etiquette in any way, shape, or form. All top experts will do that.
Seeing a lot of nice job and attaboy in chat. Yeah, great job by Kolton to pull this game out. It was not easy. He got a lot of difficult decisions and tricky positions and whatnot, but he does make the right moves in the end to pull through here.
Blocking. I want to shout out, game deserves credit, and Dave did a great job despite drawing absolutely horrifically for 7 turns to still be alive down to the last turn in this game. That's what separates top players from top players. They never go away, no matter how bad they draw, no matter what you get. They just never stop kicking. They never stop opening up lines on the board and finding clever ways to give them that 1-8 at the end and steal the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave is one of the most resilient players you'll ever face. He doesn't get phased. He doesn't get, stressed out or tilted or anything like that. He just plays his best game every single time. It's pretty annoying, speaking as one of his opponents.
Yeah, best players just never go away. And I mean, I've never beaten Dave Wiegand, so I couldn't even tell you about what it takes to beat him because I've never done it.
All right, this one's going to be a 450 to 416 final. Kolton Koehler notches the big win in game 1 of this series, which means Dave's going to have his back up against the wall. He's got to win 2 in a row to stay alive. And, this is the cruelty of this format, right? You can have an utterly dominating tournament all weekend long, But it all comes down to these best of 3 series in the end. And so there are no guarantees for Dave Wiegand that he's going to be playing for the $3,000 grand prize. He's got to now pull through a best of 3 where he's down 1-0.
And yet the field is so good. I just, man, getting into a best of 3 against any one of these players is trouble. I mean, even some of the players near the bottom of the standings are very good Scrabble players. And there is no such thing as a lock in a best of 3, especially not against Kolton, who put together a great game. He did draw both blanks, but he made Dave pay hard. Mudlark was a great find for Kolton and the difference in this game.
All right, we've got an update from Table 2. It is a very close end game in Game 1 between Austin Shin and Kevin Fraley. Kevin had that big bingo to pull ahead, like I mentioned before, but Austin has kept scoring really well. Scoring has not ever stopped. And in the end game, Kevin leads 436, 415, but he's got a bunch of consonants that don't go anywhere. He's holding BHMNT. And our annotator, Scott Jackson, says, Austin has a win, I think. So we'll keep you in suspense. He says, Austin has a win, I think. And it's obviously a very close game between those two guys, Austin and Kevin. And so it looks like we got ourselves a very tense semifinal here. Obviously people are looking at Dave and Austin as these two like world-class top players that are favorites to go pretty far in this tournament. But in this format with best of 3 series, anything can happen. Obviously, Kolton and Kevin, both really, really strong players as well. And we got a really difficult spot for both guys, Dave and Austin, if they want to advance.
And yet, if anybody can do it, it's those two, man. They're so good at Scrabble.
Yeah, I think we're really setting ourselves up for like maximum drama in these series because you've got, both Austin and Dave, really fearsome players. But if they're both down 1-0, which could be the case, we're going to have a really good chance of having some tense 3-game series in these best of 3s.
Or some unsuspenseful 2-0 sweeps from players we didn't maybe expect to make it through.
That could happen too.
But that would be a good way for things to go after the baseball playoffs, where the 5 and 6 seeds ended up making it to the World Series.
Yeah. Who wants to be the Texas Rangers of Scrabble?
Or the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
I had put 110-1 bet on them and a futures bet on them, and they almost won the World Series. That would have been the greatest bet I've ever made in my life.
Wow, would you have made 110 pennies?
I would have made $1,100 actually.
Ooh, okay, not bad.
Hey, for a boy who's $170,000 in student debt, that's life. That's beer money. That's Hood River money. Speaking of,
there we go.
Can you tell us a little bit about Hood River?
Yeah, it's a beautiful little town in Oregon, about an hour outside of Portland, where every February we have a Coco event that is a 20-player, 20-game weekend-long event, and we all rent a house together, and we just stay up in the lodge, and we play 20 games of Scrabble. We cook some meals, have some drinks, play some board games and whatnot. It's one of the most fun events of the year, I would say, but I'm biased because I'm the director. So that's coming up in February. It is available now for registration. You can go to cocoscrabble.org and sign up for that if you so desire. A lot of other events on that website as well. You can go to the California Open in Palm Springs, California. You can go to New Orleans for the Crescent City Cup. You can go to Austin, Texas, if you can stand Matt Canick, which I can't. A lot of options.
Hey, I moved out of Austin, so you won't quite get that stench anymore. I am now just down the highway in San Antonio, but I will be at that Austin tournament. And
yeah, that's what I meant.
See if I can make Hood River happen. There's no shortage of incredible cooks in Scrabble. I know Conrad Bassett Bouchard has made just some of the most amazing food I've ever eaten, and he will certainly be in Hood River. No shortage of people who know some really, really good beer, and no shortage of great beer in Hood River, Oregon. So if you like nice beer, if you like good food, if you like playing a board game in a log cabin for a weekend, Hood River might be the tournament for you. Long-termist, you live in Austin. You should shoot me a message. Let's play some Scrabble. Let's get you acquainted with the Scrabble folks in that city. There's a lot of them. I can point you in the right direction. Matt Canick, reach out, please.
Looks like our producer Andrew is showing Kolton and Dave something about the cameras or something. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, still waiting for an update on game number 1 between Austin and Kevin, but it looks like it's still a close one as far as I can tell. Oh, no, we got a final score. Austin has won game 1. Wow. The final score of 460 to 453. He pulls it out by 7.
Wow.
A dramatic comeback win for Austin. So Austin Shin leads Kevin Fraley 1-0 and Kolton Koehler leads Dave Wiegand 1-0. And we are heading for a very interesting finish to these semifinals in games 2 and 3 coming up, I'm sure. So I am open to staying on the air rather than taking a break. I don't know what you think, Matt.
Matt is going to run downstairs and get coffee. I'm going to leave Evans. This is a bad idea, but I'm going to leave him unsupervised on the mic.
Oh, boy.
60 seconds. Evans, be on your best behavior. I'll be right back, folks.
My best behavior? I don't think you want to see that. Yikes. Well, I'll do my best to not mess anything up. But yeah, this is Muffin with Tentacle asking in chat, is that Austin Shin of Austin Ho 9 fame? Yes, the one and the same. Yeah, so I'm being asked if there are any updates in Division 2. I personally don't have any, but I would love to have somebody who's in the playing room provide those for me because that would be great. We have a best of 3 semifinal happening in Division 2 as well. The 1-4 matchup in Division 2 is Kevin Schutz, the top seed, versus number 4, Vera Bigall. And Lindsay Shin is the number 2 seed in Division 2, facing Ayatunde Adeyeri. So both Shins, Lindsay and Austin, are semifinalists in their respective divisions. That's pretty cool. And I would love to get some updates on Kevin versus Vera and Lindsay versus Ayatunde when we can. But I'm unfortunately not in the playing room, so I can't get those myself. I am 34 floors up the stairs from those guys. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting event with 4 semifinalists doing battle in both divisions. I think you can actually see Vera in the background of Dave's camera, and also Conrad pacing around behind her. Looks like also Lindsay and Ayatunde just walked past us, so I think maybe they're going to the challenge computer. I'm not sure. Seeing a shout out in chat of Go Vera. Yeah, Vera Bigall was had a really nice run in this tournament. She's in second place. Or no, sorry, she fell to 4th. But yeah, she's in the semifinals against Kevin Schutz, and that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So, I'm being told they. I'm so sorry. They are in the semifinals. My bad. No offense intended. So it looks like Kolton is still at the table. Maybe they're going to resume the series in not too much longer.
I'm down for it. More Scrabble's always good.
More Scrabble will be good.
And Kolton will go first in game 2. Dave won the right to go first in rounds 1 and 3 if necessary, as virtue of having the first seed. But Kolton will get to go first in this one.
Looks like Josh is playing a little prank on us with the scores, and he's being told to zero those out. All right, so looks like Kolton and Dave are back at the table and ready to go with game number 2. So big moment here for Dave Wiegand. Can he fight back from down 1-0 and stay alive in this series and keep his dream of being North American College champion alive? Yeah, we can go ahead and start. I think that would be great. And it looks like that'll be fine with Dave and Kolton as well, as they are squaring up or unsquaring up the tiles and getting ready to play. Hello to Jalapik 1 in chat. I see that Jalapik is doing a little shout out for the Austin, Texas Scrabble community, of which he is a charter member. Yeah, a lot of great players in Austin, including, Jalapik, James Curley, as well as Becky Dyer and Jesse Day, of course. And there's some total scrubs like Matt Canick right down the road as well.
And Chris Canick has been back in the competitive Scrabble scene, my older scrub brother. So quite a bit of a good Scrabble going on in Austin. We have more or less monthly one-day tournaments sponsored by Jesse Day, and really starting to grow the scene out there. I've had so much fun at those tournaments. Some really awesome folks, James and Becky and Jesse and whoever drives in from out of town, and Ben, Michael Donegan comes out. Just some really fun folks. We had an issue with our venue at our most recent tournament, so we had to pivot and play outdoors at a brewery on a day that was like 75 and sunny, except for a sudden thunderstorm. It was a really awesome experience, really good group of folks. And if anybody wants to take a trip down to Austin, schedule it around a Cocoa one day. We'll show you the town. I've lived there for 30 years. I know it like the back of my hand.
All right, we're underway here in game 2. It looks like Kolton has arranged sea cows on his opening rack. FYI, that is not a word. But it looks like he's thinking about it. I don't know.
Maybe. But what is a word is on Dave's rack. He's pulled into blanket, so he's found his first blank of these semifinals and a bingo on his first turn as well. A much better start to this game than the last one for Dave. And I think Colton's best play is just cow, which is going to
Yeah.
take back L for blanket and make this playable.
Yeah, blanket's going to be the only bingo possible for Dave here. There are 2 spots to play it. You can hook the K or the L onto cow, making calc or cowl. No doubt, Dave Wiegand knows his hooks for 3s to make 4s, and I'm sure he's going to find either one of those options pretty easy to find.
And Colton's drawn some nice stuff. AEMSTT. Yep, and there's the I as well. So miss seat, I believe, a 7 in that rack or something like that. And Colton's going to give us a good time, a real good time instead.
Wow. All right. Yeah, a bunch of 7s in that rack that are valid, unlike the thing that Kolton has on his rack. There are 6 of them in total. You can use the bot in chat to find those, I'm sure. So no shortage of options for bingos for Kolton next turn. Looks like Dave's going to choose that placement of blanket, putting the K on cow to make calc. That is, of course, the best play. It is 6 points better because it triples different letters. And so obviously he's going to take the 6 points.
But Colton's going to hit him back for 99.
Ooh, wow.
2 different double doubles, a bingo that will hit not 1, but 2 double word scores, double it and then double it again, and then add 50 for Kolton. So he will be able to pick one of 2 7s in this rack that has an S in the 6th spot. I'm certain Kolton knows these words. It's a reasonably high probability rack for a player of his caliber. This is bread and butter. Samiest is one of his 2 options, and that's what he's setting up here. The other one is ASTEISM, asteism, both 99 points. Colton's opting for the one that exposes ZA bombs. What does Dave have on his rack but a ZA bomb?
Well, first of all, he's got a big frown on his face. But as for what's on his rack, he's pretty interesting.
And I think this is a missed opportunity. Colton's got to play the more defensive bingo here. He's got to play asteism if he knows it, and he's going to get hit very hard because of, I think, the misplay.
Yeah, you can play just ZE for 66 now if you're Dave. You can also play the word knees, Neeze, for 71. Probably better to play ZE and keep a little bit of a stronger leave, but pretty close. Looks like he's got knees arranged on his rack, and he's considering that too.
Yeah, tough choice for Dave. Maybe a little bit more averse to the vowels after the ridiculousness that happened in the first few turns last game. I think I like the shorter option here, but I think it's very, very, very close as well. When you have to make these decisions, you want to look at what you're going to hold. So ZE holds EEINV, which is a leave that maybe isn't superb, but isn't terrible. And when you're trying to decide this kind of stuff, you need to look at what's available. That L exposed at the top of the board looks to synergize quite well with EEINV. And for that reason, I think I'd like to make this more dynamic, just ZE play. And Dave agrees with everything I just said and does it right on cue. I promise I'm not in his ear telling him to do these things, but
I'm sure what's in Dave Wiegand's head right now is Matt Kanik is so smart. I'm going to prove it to everybody. That's what he cares about.
That's exactly right. Kolton now, 2 really cool plays. Jovial plays, the obvious 6-letter word on this rack, alongside blanket. Strings that J in the triple line, but he's also got a non-bingo that scores very well and does not play the J. He's got another double, this time at the top of the board, plays through the L in blankets. I won't say it just yet.
Chat pointing out that Dave has drawn a bingo. He's got Venines, but I'm not sure if I see a place that Venines is going to play.
Enlivens is going to play through that L.
Oh, enlivens is a word. There you go.
Synergy with that L, but that's probably going to go away with any of Kolton's plays. The double for Kolton is alveoli. So if you know your anatomy and physiology at all, you're familiar with that one. But that is hard to spot. And when you have the J and a bunch of hot spots like this, that's an easy one to miss.
Definitely.
And
Yeah,
he
I think it's looking unlikely that Dave's going to get a bingo down. Pretty much all of Colton's candidate moves don't give Dave a spot for Vanines or Enlivens or anything like that.
But he is going to give back Jives or Jin, Jinne. Both of them
True.
going to score very well. And if for whatever reason Dave wants to leave that J alone, he's got 42 at the bottom of the board. Nieves and Zen plays down to that triple. But Jives or Jin, I think, going to be the play here. I would prefer to hold on to this S. Two have already been played. I think I'm actually going to pass up 9 points and play Jinne for 39 over Jives for 48 if I'm Dave. What do you think, Evans?
Well, I always say that the value of an S is kind of board specific, right? Like it depends whether there are some big juicy spots on the board to use the S. And I would say on this particular board, that's kind of a below average thing. Like there's less, S opportunities than usual. So given that, I might lean toward Jives, but I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's tough. These are marginal situations, and I mean, experts could go back and forwards on turns like this all day. And at the end of the day, sometimes it just comes down to your style. Do you leave points on the board to try to bingo and be more dynamic, or do you just take the points every time they're available and sacrifice a few points of bingo percentage next turn? It's a tough turn. I wish we could poll, anybody over 1,700 in chat right now. I don't know if Twitch has that feature, but I bet we'd see a close split between Jin and Jives as to what people would prefer to play here. And honestly, I think that's some of the beauty of Scrabble. We have not solved this game except for maybe end game situations. There's always going to be some room for debate.
Yeah, and there's also a very human element to it. It's like, how do I make certain plays against certain opponents for certain tactical reasons? There's a lot of psychology involved. There's just so much complexity to this game. That's why it's so beautiful.
Especially at the intermediate level, you're playing against your opponents, trying to exploit their weaknesses, guessing if they know a hook that you do or don't know. There's a lot of that. At the top level, players are all so good that there's a little bit less of that, and yet still a lot of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, it looks like everybody is agreeing with me and not you, Evans, and they want to play.
Fine.
So I win and you lose, and this is why you'll never have anything nice in your life.
Fine.
Yeah, I do agree entirely with your analysis, Evans, that the S is not strong on this board, but this is a young game, and there's only one other S in the bag. I think Dave can create some opportunities for himself in the future with that. So, yeah, not a good S board now, but could be soon.
Fair enough.
But again, this is back and forwards. There is no right answer, and it looks like Dave picked wrong in this instance because he's not going to have points after a bad draw. So maybe you were right. Who knows? Nobody knows. That's why we keep coming back to this game.
Yeah. So the lead just keeps swinging back and forth. Jin puts Dave back in front, 184 to 157. And now it's Kolton's turn to kind of battle through a challenging rack here. A lot of vowels with that F and the R. Not a lot of great ways to use them.
Ooh. Nicest play according to Quackle for Kolton. There's several options, but freeze to the ZE.
Oh, nice.
Way to score and play out. He's also got freebie through the BI at the top to get rid of all of these E's at once. Both of those plays hold IU, but you've got to try to score some points, right? You can't exchange. This rack is bad, but not that bad when you've got 26 or 28 available.
No, I certainly think that a leave with 2 or 3 vowels in it is palatable. There's a lot of ways to get out of that mess if you just draw a couple of consonants. No need to panic and score 0 on your turn.
I agree.
And I don't think these two guys at the table are prone to panicking at all. I don't think I've seen very many exchanges from either one of them, although we did see the one from Kolton in game 1 that was a little surprising.
Give a quick shout out to Conrad Bassett-Bouchard. You see him in frame behind Dave Wiegand right now. He and Evans have been co-directing this event, and credits due where credits due. This has been a great event. A lot of folks coming out, a lot of great coverage. So thank you, Conrad, for your contributions. And as much as it pains me to say this, thank you, Evans, as well, for putting this organization and this event together. That was painful.
I appreciate the begrudging thanks. So that was nice, Matt. Thanks.
It's the nicest thing you'll ever get out of me.
And shout out to my spouse as well. You see Jennifer in the background sitting at the director table next to Conrad. She has done an incredible job running this event.
Yes, all absolutely essential to this Coco organization and its success that we've found.
All right, looks like Kolton is lining up Freebie. He's got Free E lined up there, and he's kind of shaking his head like he's not sure if he wants to do this.
Somebody needs to tell the story about free with 3 E's. I think we all know which one it is.
I actually don't. I'm curious.
Oh, yeah, I'll let somebody else in chat get it.
Okay. All right, so Freebie is the choice from Kolton. It comes down, and that's going to make it roughly a tie game, I think. Yeah,
Very
puts him down
close.
by 1 point. Dave leads 184 to 183.
This is anybody's game.
Absolutely. Both players drawing, not super well right now, trying to navigate some difficult racks.
Revers is an option. Is that a sticky S?
Geez. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at that. Wow, it is.
Revers is a
Revers.
It takes 3 back hooks, EI and O, and it is not good as a 5. There is no Rever, but there is Revers. Quackle's got that as a top play right now by a smidge. Veggies also makes a lot of sense for Dave in this situation through that E at the top of the board. And a higher scoring option of REHS available underneath Samiest, making SH and ZAS. I've talked about the importance of the S in this game already. I don't want to play it here if I can avoid it, but it looks like there aren't any good options that don't play the S here.
That is a hard word to know, Revers. Especially because, the plural would be reverses, which is just reverses. So there's no reason you would learn revers by learning its plural form.
That is crazy. Yeah, man. Scrabble is full of just intricacies and complexities and lexical nuance that we all continue to learn as we get more and more exposure. But that is a crazy 6. Revers, sticky S, 3 back hooks. Plural is revers is what? Freaking Scrabble, man. I love it.
Words are fun.
They really are.
All right. I am in the process of getting updates on Division 2. My co-directors are currently typing in the chat. I see ... Okay, well, here we go. It looks like, wow. So Kevin Schutz beat Vera Bigall by 1 point, 401 to 400 in game 1 of that series. That sounds like an incredible game. Wish we got to see that. That's really cool. So yeah, Kevin up 1-0 on Vera. And between Ayatunde and Lindsay, again, I'm seeing the ... in the chat. I think we're going to have an update in mere seconds now. The ... So, okay, Lindsay has beaten Io in round 1, 483 to 407. So Kevin Schutz and Lindsay Shin have been the top 2 players in this division really all weekend long, and they are both up 1-0 in their series with a very, very possible finals collision course for those two.
That would be fireworks as well. Speaking of fireworks, look what Kolton's got set up on his rack.
What does he have?
Liquid and ZEL, which plays.
Oh,
90?
that's huge. Wow.
Who needs bingos when I can just score 90?
Yeah, that's not bad. Kolton's got a real chance to sweep this series. This is getting real.
You can see it on his face too. He's more and more aware, man. If Liquid doesn't get blocked, this is huge. But if Liquid does get blocked, I will be very, very sad. Now, we know Dave doesn't really have any reason to block that play with the options available to him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any of Dave's candidate moves block that, which is bad news for him. He's going to get smacked. All right, update from the table 2 in the top division. It looks like Kevin has taken an early lead in game 2 against Austin Shin. Kevin fairly bingos with Kosid for a whole bunch of points, and he leads 98 to 35. Obviously still early in game 2 there, but he's got a chance to even that series 1-1.
So as it becomes more and more possible that we see Kolton Koehler in the finals of this set, Evans, can you give us a little bit of background on Kolton, who he is, where he's from, and what his game is?
Yeah, absolutely. I've played a lot of games with Kolton over the years, not just Scrabble, but chess too. And he's a great player. I think he's been playing Scrabble since I want to say 2009. He's got a background in other war games, including Boggle, which means that he's one of the best Boggle players on the planet Earth, honestly. He's incredible at Boggle, which means he's learned a lot of, especially the shorter words, 4s, 5s, 6s, really, really, really well from that background of his. But he's also learned a lot of bingos during his Scrabble studying years. And he's just a really fearsome player because his word knowledge is so incredible and his word finding ability is so incredible as well. I don't think he's ever won any like major tournaments. This would be the first one for him, but he's a great player who's been on this kind of stage before. And he's played a lot of games with Dave over the years because they both live in Portland, Oregon. They go to the same club, go to the same tournaments. So these two guys know each other's game really well, and they both have a lot of respect for each other as players. Obviously, Dave's the bigger name. He's won, big tournaments like national championships and whatnot, but Kolton is a very strong player in his own right, which is why this matchup is so great.
And Kolton really is due for something like this, a championship or a great performance. He is too good not to have a couple accolades under his belt.
For sure. And he does get Liquid down, so huge swing here as he takes a roughly one bingo size lead over Dave.
Dave's going to play Vogue almost definitely beneath Samius, making SO and ZAG. That D floating at the bottom of the board is going to continue to be a dangerous and dynamic bingo line. So Dave is absolutely not done yet. And Kolton has drawn a Habitan, which is valid, but does not play, and I don't think he's going to get a spot. Oh my goodness. Ooh, this is fun. The B is a really cool tile on this board. Who's going to tell me why?
So the B?
The B.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Nice.
For those at home, I won't say it yet. Chat, get it. Why is the B special?
It probably won't come up. Actually, it could come up. I don't know.
It probably won't. I think Kolton's going to play it next turn, but it could come up.
If he had an L on his rack, he could play B, H, and L. Oh, no, that's not true. I'm making up phony twos. Never mind. But yeah, the B is cool. Yeah, Ob Liquid has been spotted in chat by a few people now. You can stick the B in between the O and liquid to make a really cool word.
It's not going to be a ton of points, but hey, that's neat. So Dave doesn't play Vogue. He goes with VoIP here instead, and he's going to draw WUX into the G that he held on his rack. That is killer. Once again, Dave putting on a clinic on how not to draw.
Eesh. At least he can keep scoring points with those tiles and maybe try to bingo later on.
Kolton's going to have some tough choices now. Inhabit plays at the bottom of the board from the eye for 40, but it strings things wide open with two unseen S's. That is tough. We also lost our clock. We'll see if we can get that fixed on the ground. Evans, if you could ping our director, see what's going on, or maybe Christian can work on that.
Oh, yeah, that seems...
Habit is 40. There's also a very nice word of Bavan, B-H-A-V-A-N, playing through the V exposed in VoIP. I think that's a better way for Kolton to control this board a little bit and score a lot of points in the process. Bavan is 34. Inhabit is 40.
Yeah, interesting stylistic choice here. Actually, unfortunately for Kolton, if he does play Bavan, he's going to get hit with Unsex for 56. But he can't possibly know that or expect to prevent that.
Oh, man, yeah, Unsex through the N he plays would get that X on the triple letter, and then the whole word. That's going to be a killer.
But I think Kolton's going to get smacked pretty hard either way. I mean, if he plays Inhabit, then it looks like Dave's best play is XU above the I in Inhabit, which is also pretty strong. He's going to get 38.
Dave can't play that, though. He can't kill the board.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, I guess there's really very few other places for him to bingo if he plays that. That's interesting.
But, I mean, Kolton can't know what Dave's rack is. Kolton, if he plays and gets hit by a 100-point bingo, he's going to put his tail between his legs and never come back to another Scrabble tournament. So maybe that's a slight overreaction, but, something similar to that, I'm certain. This is a tough turn. Chat, tell us what to do. I'm not smart enough. I think Kolton might be looking at like just BHAI and IF with freebie.
I'm not sure. He's got a weird arrangement of his tiles on his rack. He's got a hit ban. I'm not sure what to make of that.
BAITH plays through the I and liquid at the bottom if you really want to start mucking up this board. I think that's a little aggressive in terms of defense, and I say that as a defense guy myself.
And as an offense guy myself, I'm saying, no way I'm playing base.
Right.
There are certain opportunities where you want to really control the board, but I'm not sure if this is one of them. There's other considerations, like you got to keep scoring points. You're not up by that much. There's a long way to go. Even if you do block one part of the board, there's other parts of the board your opponent can use. I mean, there's a bunch of lanes for eights. Like you can play into the E and here up top. That looks beautiful. There's, the letters in liquid. And there's also an S hook on freebie. So there's a lot of ways that your opponent can score points to hurt you, and you can't prevent everything.
Yeah, exactly. You can't stop it all, and sometimes you just have to take risks. It's a matter of which risk do I take and how aggressive is it. I think Bavan looks to be an awesome option here if Kolton's able to spot it, but he's seen none of them or opted out of all of them. He's going to play BAW in here for 21. I'm not going to offer much analysis there.
Yeah, 21 points. Maybe he just likes the balance of that leave AHIT. Yeah, not his best move, I don't think, but it's going to keep him roughly a bingo ahead, maybe a little bit less than a bingo ahead, and doesn't offer any massive comebacks for Dave anyway. Not a lot to do with this X.
No. Man, this is such a poor pull for Dave, and he is in challenging position now. Every play he can make, too, is going to knock out some of the lines on the board that he wants to keep open. Top static play, according to Quackle, is just WEX through the E in here for 13. That's ridiculous. You can't play that. And yet, looking at some of the other options, nothing is good. You can't play EX underneath Jin for 31, holding GRSUW. You can't really play UGS, UGS beneath VoIP, making OU, SIG, and Zaps. What can you do if you're Dave? Do you play Vex from the V, knocking out your freebies hook?
Maybe you play Vex from the V. I don't know. There's you're right. There's nothing really looking too appetizing here if you're Dave.
This turn sucks.
This turn sucks. It's pretty much. The good news for Dave is that his opponent's turn's not going to be that much better. Kolton's drawing some weird stuff. Not a lot of great ways to use that H on his rack, so he might be okay.
I wonder, do you fish for Exergues? I don't think you do that if you set it up at the top, but you're going to need to draw 2 E's with only 4 left. If you play EX beneath Jin, fish for Exergues, but I don't think you can. Hearing in chat, Vera takes down Kevin Schutz in game 2, so they are tied at 1-1 with a winner-take-all and advances to the finals matchup. That's going to be suspenseful.
Does that mean that the winner scored exactly 401 in both games? Because the first game was 401 to 400.
I don't know the score of that one. I just know Vera won, but that'd be awesome. 401 is the target, I guess.
Yeah, somebody said 401 to 266. 266? Since when has Kevin only scored 266? Wow, must have been a terrible drawing game for him.
Yeah, it must have sucked. But at least he got game 1.
Yeah, I mean, you got a best-of-3 series and you're going to game 3. That's what it's all about. Have some fun.
Can Dave set up his X here?
I don't know. Can he? Let's see. I'm trying to think of what spot he would possibly be able to get to. If anybody in chat has any brilliant ideas, let us know. I certainly don't have any brilliant ideas ever, really.
Oh, this turn just sucked. Yeah. Josh is the setup master. We've got Josh in chat. Maybe Josh can find something fun for Dave here, but I'm not seeing a great option. I think maybe you just hold your nose and play EX at the top, and I don't know. GRSUW is just so bad.
Yeah. The Adam in chat saying that Wex seems sad but best. Oh man, I don't know if I can if I can have an appetite for that. Like you're just blocking your best bingo lane when you're down by a bingo. Yeah, people saying X for 31. I think I'm leaning toward X as well. You really need to score points, and X does do that.
Do you play Fug from the F and freebie and maybe pick up a U to hit XU next turn?
Hey.
That's awful. Everything is awful.
I would like Fug better if it were in the 7th column and not the 6th. Yeah. So you're setting up a bingo ending in S. It's kind of useless in the 6th.
I agree. Yeah. Do you? I can't see a good setup at all for the X either. I mean, if you can play Drug or something from the D in Liquid, but that's so obvious.
Yeah, the Adam's saying that if you play Wex, you're at least keeping Surge, which is a better leave, and maybe you can bingo. I mean, you do have the letters at the bottom of the board in Liquid that look pretty good for bingoing. You know, Surge can hit that D or that I. You might get a 7 with an S early in the word so you can hook freebies. Yeah, a lot of support going now for Wex in chat. I don't know.
And the computer is not immediately honing in on the D at the bottom of the board and doing everything in its power to block, which is what you have to do if you're Kolton after Dave drops Wex for 13 points. So the computer analysis a little bit flawed in this situation, can't make the same inferences. At the same time, every option sucks, and that seems to suck the least. So I think you might just have to pull the trigger, take a shot if you're Dave, and see where that goes.
Yeah, the good news for Dave is that there are other places to bingo besides that D at the bottom. You might get lucky and draw something else somewhere else.
And that rack surge seems like it's going to have a lot of bingos that'll start with an S as well. So it's a little bit more dynamic. You're more likely to hit the spot with freebies. You can't really fish for a bingo if there's one bingo line. Your opponent's just going to block it every time as long as they have a pulse, a brain, and a conscience. And most opponents in Scrabble have all three of those things.
At least 2.
Yeah, usually at least 2 of them. Can you play Vug and set up any kind of S option like Vug's plays? But then you knock out the D that you really want to keep there.
Yeah, I don't want to knock that out if I can help it. At least Wex gives you a better leave and a chance at drawing something good. I see Esoka Saga in chat. Welcome to Esoka Saga saying that EX for 31 looks good. You need the points. Yeah, that's a very valid point as well. This is a difficult choice.
We've seen nothing but just complex position after complex position between these two players. And honestly, that's why we're here, to see some incredible Scrabble.
He's playing Crew. Interesting.
I do like this. It scores enough. EXUS can have a good amount of synergy, lots of R's and T's to draw. That'll synergize well with that. Keep the board alive. Good decision by Dave, I think. A tricky turn. And wow, tuxedos with a blank out of the bag.
Wow, we got ourselves a match again. Look at that draw for Dave. That is monster.
Jeez. All right, Dave showing us, finding an option none of us thought about and immediately pulling a devastating draw. This is going to be interesting yet.
He can play Exoduses.
Haihoa comes down immediately. Exodus with a blank for Dave. Yeah, he's going to have a lot of options. Exoduses from the E and Jin plays for 101.
And then Tuxedos is 98 from the T and Tehoa. So take your pick, both monster bingos. Dave's going to take the lead after this turn. This is incredible.
What a comeback for Dave. We were talking about how dead he was, already talking up Kolton, and Dave's like, hang on now, do you remember who I am? I am freaking Wiegand, man. And Exodus is 101 points. Let's watch Kolton's face.
Oh, wow.
Well,
if you're just joining us, you have missed a banger of a match. Dave Wiegand must win this game to stay alive. He's got his back up against the wall, and he's down by a bingo. This is a best-of-3 series. Kolton took game 1, so Dave must win game 2 to stay alive in this tournament. And he draws Exoduses for 101.
Kolton's drawn his own bingo down from.
Oh, he's got Titulary.
Titulary is 86.
Wow. This game, folks. This game.
Oh my goodness. This one just exploded. And Dave, what have you drawn? ADE and STY? Is that going to give you anything back?
Desiatin. He's got Desiatin.
He's got Desiatin and Stained, STAYN.
He's got two bingos.
Wow. Unsteady and Unstayed from the U. Oh my goodness, this one just blew wide open.
Chat's going crazy. A lot of wow and OMG and what even is this? Yeah, I agree with all of those sentiments. Holy cow. So Exoduses comes down. Kolton doesn't seem to be finding titular. Oh, he's thinking about orality from the A, which is also a bingo option for him. Okay. Either way, Desiatin's coming down after that. So, geez, this is quite the game.
Whoa. Never count out Dave Wiegand.
So for Kolton, titulary would be 86, orality 76. You want to find titulary here. It's the best play, and he does.
So Titulary after the play is going to leave 14 tiles in the bag. Dave is going to bingo and leave 7 tiles in the bag, and we're going to come down to an end game, folks. This is nuts.
So Dave with 4 bingo options, actually. I'm not sure if Chad has spotted all 4 of them.
I said them. Stained, Desyatin, Unsteady, Unstayed. They're
Okay,
all
yeah, you got it.
76 and 79 points. Dave's got to be thinking, okay, I'm leaving 7 in the bag. I'm going to pull slightly ahead, but it's going to be Kolton's turn. Which of these maximizes my chances of winning? Do I need to open scoring opportunities and hope I draw something good? Do I need to open a bingo line and hope I draw another one? Do I just score as many points as I can? Dave's got to choose the correct bingo here, but he's low on time. I don't know that he has a lot of time to make this decision, as this end game is likely to be tough for him.
Yeah, so whatever Dave does here, he's currently down by 70. So the bingo will put him up by a number between 6 and 9 points. And so it's a really, really close score. And it's going to be Kolton on turn with 7 tiles in the bag.
These
so
are
no matter which.
Good tiles for Kolton to be drawing, though. Ooh.
Well, I mean, this might be a game of like who hits the scoring spots on this board harder.
Likely so, yeah. I mean, we've got that X exposed at the top. We've got a number of premium squares that could be hit, but I'm not seeing any devastating options.
So Dave is now, 4.5 minutes left. Wow, he's got Desyatin lined up.
Jeez, that was not a good pull for Kolton. I'm just looking at his options next turn, and there's not going to be much for him. It depends on which bingo Dave chooses here, but
right.
Dave's got to be taking a good look at the unseen tiles as well, trying to guess, is there a good chance Kolton's got bad stuff? Is there any, high-scoring tiles I need to watch out for? But JQXZ have all been played this game. Nice, balanced, and maybe a little Val-heavy, if anything, in the unseen pool. But I don't know. Dave's got to just hope Kolton doesn't pick up another bingo out of a pool that seems quite prone and see what he can do. Here it comes, Stained, the option.
Okay. So Stained will put Dave up by 9 points, and Kolton's rack is FG Opium, and it looks like he's looking at Opium.
In these situations, the last play wins the game a lot, and Kolton's got to be thinking about tempo here. With 7 tiles in the bag, the best thing Kolton can do is probably leave 3 tiles in the bag, make things as complicated as possible for Dave, and increase the chances that he makes the last play. So looking to play about 4 tiles feels right, perhaps 5. Opium and TO at the bottom of the board is a good option for him. Opium and DO, another option, scores 1 more point. I'm looking at options that score or that play off 4 tiles for him. Perhaps GUIMP is a good option for Kolton too, but he's got to look at this unseen pool. That's terrifying. I see like Retina a bunch of times in there. That is incredibly bingo prone. Dave's probably got some great stuff, and we see it on his rack. He's got Noticer and Co-Enter, and Noticer's going to play next to Stained right now. Kolton's got a lot to think about.
A lot to think about indeed.
How does Kolton find FGIOU in the bag and Dave finds CEINORT? Scrabble's unfair sometimes, but Dave has had so many awful pulls. It's time that he got a good one. So Opium in either spot looks to block a couple options, but he's still going to have Centroid or Doctrine from the D. So GUIMP blocks the D bingos, but gives up Noticer. Opium knocks out some. Dave is going to score 80 next turn and almost definitely win this game. Oh, Contrive also plays through the V. That is legitimately like the best rack Dave could have looked in the bag and drawn.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. Sorry, I'm trying to resolve some directing crises, but so you can just kind of keep on vamping for me if that's okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, this has been a really interesting pre-end game situation, and it's just so tough for Kolton to battle through these racks. Yeah, this has been quite a game.
and it looks like Dave going to hang on and win this one with that incredible pull. Not going to call this one yet, as I was already hyping up Kolton, and then Dave played Exoduses for 101 and then drew this. But looks like we're hearing in Division 2 that the other game, Ayotunde over Lindsay, also went Ayotunde's way. So we're going to see Game 3 in both Division 2 sets. Looks like we're going to see Game 3 in this one as well.
Yeah, so it sounds like Kevin actually won game 1 against Austin, not Austin defeating Kevin.
Oh.
I'm going to fire my annotator because I was told the exact opposite.
We are putting out ads. If anybody wants to be an annotator, we're looking for one. Let us know. If you can get to Seattle, Washington in the next 4 minutes, we've got a vacancy now.
To be clear, to actually type out in chat, I'm not saying fire Jason Katz Brown. I'm saying fire Scott Jackson. Come on, use your head. The idea of firing Jason Katz Brown when the job is using Quackle just seems a little bit off base to me, but I could be wrong.
For those less enlightened, Evans, tell them why that joke was funny.
Because Jason Katz Brown invented Quackle.
Very good. Yes, thank you. For those who don't know, Quackle is probably the best Scrabble engine that is out there right now. May be surpassed very soon by Macondo. I don't know to what level Macondo is accessible, but Quackle is an awesome engine, Quackle. You can download it yourself and solve nearly any word games with it with a reasonably high degree of success.
So Kolton really thinking about this position a lot, and he's got really no fantastic options. He's just got to pick from a menu of garbage. He saw Opium right away. We saw him arrange it on his rack when he first drew it way back many minutes ago. And Opium was his best play all along, I think, but unfortunately it's just not going to work out for him.
I'm trying to look at what's in the pool for Kolton. Looks like AEEGOR. What am I missing? ADEEGOR. So Kolton, the only way he wins this game is to make a play here and draw a bingo that hits back after Dave's bingo. He can't know that. He can't know Dave is about to bingo in every single possible line that exists. But is there a way Kolton can make a play and draw bingos with those tiles? If he plays Opium and holds FG, I don't like Fire Dog is not quite there.
Right. Yeah, nothing great that I'm seeing.
Fogged, could he draw that? Yeah, I think he could draw Defogged if he misses the A. But Doctrine or Centroid will make that go away.
Yep.
I don't think he can draw anything down from the I or the H, anything through the V. FG is just not going to do it for him. But again, he can't know that Dave has drawn the perfect rack.
Yeah, not seeing anything for Kolton that's going to work.
If you play GUIMP, what are you holding? FOU? No, FOI?
FOI. Ugh.
And that, with this unseen pool, man, that's not going to go anywhere either. FOI. Oh, I mean, Fire Dog actually could be an option that he draws on the right side of the board. After GIMP, I don't know if we're going to see Contrive or if we're going to see Noticer. Kolton's not bad, but definitely sub 10% with knowledge of Dave's rack. Kolton's got to be feeling close to about 50-50 here. Maybe.
Yeah, he has no idea that Dave has drawn such an incredible rack. He's going to be pretty sad in a couple of minutes here.
Surely Dave has already seen every bingo, so he's not going to have to spend any of his clock looking. He's just going to have to choose with the unseen pool what the biggest threat is for Kolton.
Do you mean Dave's seen every bingo playable from his rack, or just like every bingo in existence?
I'm pretty sure.
I think either statement would be accurate.
How much time has Kolton used this turn? What, 7 minutes? Yeah, Dave has seen every bingo in the universe by now.
Yeah.
Tense moment here. And it looks like nearly every other game is done in the background. It's going to be very quiet as Kolton laments his options here. Interestingly, Quackle, I think, likes Figo, Figo, next to Stained. That sets up the P and the M for Kolton, and there aren't
Ooh.
scoring threats that Dave could have aside from bingos. So Figo sets up the 2 high point tiles that Kolton has and leaves 3 in the bag. Seems to do everything everything you could ask of a play in this situation.
Well, so opium is kind of similar. If you play opium vertically next to the D and stained, you're setting up something with the F and the G. Like frog, for example, is over 50.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah. And 2 R's, 2 O's to be drawn.
Yeah, like there's a lot of words like that. I mean, frog's 51, but like really
Frag.
anything with like if you can draw the R with like an F and an R and a vowel is going to score really, really well.
And if you don't draw an R, there's a good chance Dave has 2, and he's way less likely to bingo.
Right.
So Opium looks really good. Figo looks good. Kolton can set himself up here. Again, that's what he's thinking. We know he's dead. Not dead, but mostly dead.
Yeah. So if he were to play opium and then like Centroid comes down and then frog.
He's still losing.
Yeah, it would be 517, 500 after that. So yeah, Dave's still winning.
Goodness. 517 to 500, Evans dropped so casually, as we've come to expect so often from these players. It doesn't even feel crazy anymore. That's how good everybody in this room is.
I have seen Dave score 517 more times than I can, like hundreds of times. Like it's just another day at the office for this guy.
Kolton has kept FGIPU. What is he looking for? Puffing? No, there's no F.
Yeah. Not sure.
Well, whatever he was looking for, I'm sure it wasn't that.
No.
And this one's done.
So Nom comes down, and many places for Dave to play some sort of erection type word. Centroid and Doctrine are the 2 words with that plus a D. Those are the highest scoring bingos available.
So unseen now to Dave. There's 5 in the bag. And you can see them there on the screen. ADEE, FGG, IOPRU. Nom looks to be a strange play with that unseen pool.
I agree.
So Dave's got to do some poker, make some inferences, and he's only got 2 minutes to do this. What could Kolton be looking for? How do I thwart that threat? Do I need to thwart that threat? Man, this is a tricky game. I think Doctrine's got to be the move and just watch out for the 7-letter overlaps, or the 7-letter word overlaps to the right of Stained.
Yeah, that looks to be the sensible idea here. A lot of people in the chat saying, yeah, Doctrine, clearly the play. I think I agree. Also, let's point out in chat that Kolton's rack spells GGFUIPA.
Correct. And for those who are strangers to Dave Wiegand, whenever he wins a Scrabble tournament, there is magically at least a 6-pack of IPAs, and Dave is waiting by the door with the bottle opener and an open beer and just offered one to you. It's incredible. I don't know how he does this, but like you go into the last round, you know who's in the championship, and by the time you finished your last game, Dave is outside the playing room with the 6-pack offering one to you. It's an incredible skill. It means Dave won that game in like 20 minutes or less and had time to go to the store, or Dave bought this 6-pack in advance knowing he was going to win the tournament and give one to you. In either case, it's a tradition that needs to be cherished and upheld at all times.
All right. Doctrine comes down, and it looks like Dave Wiegand's going to win game 2 and force a deciding 3rd game. 86 points and a 517 to 454 lead that will be insurmountable for Kolton.
Dave had the sickest non-bingo I've almost ever seen on that last turn. He had a 39-point play that held 4 tiles.
Oh, wow.
You see it on Quackle?
Didn't see that at all.
It's a 9-letter word that plays 4 tiles and makes 4 overlaps.
That's great.
The play is Intergrew at the top left of the board, dropping NTER between that I and grew. That's filthy.
It's so sad when you have plays like that you can't make because something actually is better at Scrabble.
I mean, we said Dave did see every possible bingo, every
Yeah.
bingo that exists. Did he also see the 39-point play?
It's
Kolton,
pointed out in chat that it was these same two players, Dave and Kolton, who had that insane game where interlens was possible earlier in the tournament. So the inter bingos or non bingos in this case that are like crazy disconnected everything's keep showing up for these two. All right, so pig and then erode in the end game. But this is all just kind of bookkeeping at this point. We all know Dave's going to win this game.
Yep. Just how far over 500 does he want to go?
And it looks like the answer is going to be about 49 points over 500 if my math is correct.
So that's game 2 of the semifinals here from the NAC in Seattle, Washington. Dave Wiegand comes back from behind, draws Exoduses out of nowhere, and grabs victory from the jaws of defeat in this one. You can tell he's pointing at Gru, shaking his head. I can tell he just told Kolton what his leave was, and Kolton just smiled and looked down like, oh, you drew that. That's fine. That's fine.
I think Dave is correct to point at the word Gru as he's discussing this game because that was really the turning point.
And that's
really
a play
difficult rack.
nobody thought of except Dave. And that's the play that turned this game around.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really difficult rack. He had GRW to go with, what was it, ESUX? And just no good places for the W or for the X or anything. And he just picked the best from a menu of not very good options and hoped for a good draw and got it.
Do blank out of the bag, and the rest is history from there.
Yeah, great game. Really tense action on both sides and well played on both sides, too. And in the end, Dave Wiegand gets game 2. Well, I know that going into this match, what I wanted was a really close, hard-fought battle that goes to a deciding third game. And so I have already gotten my wish regardless of what happens in game 3.
Yeah, just 2 awesome games. Yesterday, I called a few that were just absolute blowouts, and we had to try to do the thing where we make small talk, and it was painful. So this is much better. I appreciate this, and I hope you at home like this as well. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, there was a lot of stop, he's already dead in the chat yesterday. But this game featured a little bit more competition, so that was nice.
And we will be bringing you game 3, the deciding match. Do we have an update on spread in these? Is spread the tiebreaker in a best of 3? Should they tie the next game?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I actually don't have the spreadsheet in front of me with all the stats on this, so I actually don't remember who won their game by more, Dave or Kolton. Looks like Dave won this one by 72. And I don't remember at all what happened in game 1.
Dave got the spread advantage in the case of a tie is what it looks like.
Oh, yeah, okay, because Kolton won by less than 72. You're right, yeah. I'm really glad that I don't think any of the series have had identical spreads. Like, nobody's one-on-one with a spread of 0. So we can't have any matches.
Say about that, right?
Yeah, we can't have any matches that end in a tie, exactly, which is a relief because we have no contingency plan whatsoever for that. So,
do you have updates from the other games, Evan? Tell us what's going on with the rest of the semifinals.
I'm trying to get those, but I'm like hesitant to share them because my annotator completely failed to give us an accurate update last time. I would prefer to look at the actual spreadsheet with the actual results and not unreliable text message updates. It looks like Ayatunde has evened the series 1-1 with Lindsay. So there will be a deciding third game between Ayatunde Adeyeri and Lindsay Shin. That is the 2 versus 3 matchup in Division 2. And it looks like Kevin Fraley and Austin Shin are still playing game 2 of their series. It was Kevin, not Austin, who won game 1 of that one. Apologies for the misinformation I shared with you earlier. And it looks like there's a close game in game 2. Last score update I got was Kevin 326, Austin 283. So basically up by just like a 1 tempo advantage, like 1 turn's worth of scoring. But of course, when you're playing Austin Shin, the scoring never stops, so that's going to be a close game.
So it looks like the players are just going to sit down and go ahead and get game 3 over with. Is that right, Evans?
Apparently so, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm down for it. If you are, we can just
Let's get it on. Let's go.
I ran out of coffee anyway, so what else am I going to do?
Oh, coffee. I still have some. Thanks for reminding me.
You are welcome. My boys are getting antsy. They're ready for this best of 3 to come down to the wire. You may be getting cameo appearances from my Huskies, Colby and Soren. They are extremely loud, so apologies in advance. I will do my best to stop them from barking.
And speaking of Huskies, shout out to the University of Washington football team, one of the best in the country, who beat Utah yesterday and remains undefeated, I believe.
I like their quarterback's name.
I don't know how to pronounce it, and I'm afraid to get it wrong.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try. I just see it on the ticker at the bottom, and I'm like, heh, heh.
Yeah, exactly.
You can Google it if you want to. There go my dogs. So it looks like the players are going to take a small break. I could certainly stretch my legs a little bit. Evans, what say you? Do you want to carry solo? Do you want to cut to a break? Do you want to just stay on and make unfunny jokes?
I can stay on for a couple of minutes. I don't mind. I think it'd be nice to just keep the stream running continually and not have any breaks during this morning session. So I'll try and vamp and find some things to talk about.
Okay. I want to get my dogs out of here because we don't need that ambiance for this tight game. So I'm going to step away for a moment, let the Huskies out. And Evans, you take the wheel from here for just a moment, all right?
All right, sounds good.
We'll be back, folks.
All right, so I'm doing my best to kind of find some updates where I can on these games. All I know for sure is that in Division 2, both matches are 1-1. So Kevin Schutz versus Vera Bigall is a 1-1 even series, and Lindsay Shin versus Ayotunde Adeyeri is also 1-1. And it is also 1-1, of course, in Division 1 between Dave and Kolton, as we've been watching. I don't know exactly what's happened with the Game 2 between Austin and Kevin. If Austin were to win that game, we would have 1-1 tied series in all 4 matches, which is really cool. But I'm going to go quickly hit up my annotator for an update on that one. In the meantime, chat, we can just hang out. I'm seeing a mention of, I drink decaf peppermint lattes. That is false. Straight up black coffee. Thank you very much. Nothing better for me on a Monday morning where I'm moving a little bit slow. Seeing a question in chat, isn't having Huskies in Texas practically animal abuse? Well, Matt's a pretty abusive guy, so that doesn't surprise me one bit. All right, any update from Austin and Kevin? Nothing yet. Still looking to see if I can find something there. But I think we're going to have Dave and Kolton in not too much longer. We did see both guys at the table just a moment ago. So hopefully I don't have to stall for too much longer, but we'll see what happens. But this has been a great morning so far with 3 series already tied 1-1, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. Regardless of who wins and who loses, I was just hoping for a nice, close, dramatic battle in each of these series, and it looks like that's what we're going to get. I'm pulling for Austin Shin in Game 2, not because I have any, playing favorites going on. I just want to see all the series tied. That would be cool. Ooh, all right. Conrad in chat saying that Austin is on the ropes. I don't have any specific details on who scored how many points and whatnot, but Austin on the ropes is what Conrad says in the chat. So that is a dicey update if you're an Austin Shin fan. Looks like Kevin's got a shot to close out that match 2-0 and stamp his ticket to the finals, where he will face either Dave or Kolton. These 2 guys tied 1-1 going to a deciding 3rd game. Can't wait for that 3rd game. It's going to be quite the battle. These are 2 great players, Dave and Kolton. It's really just been a joy to watch them work all weekend long. We've had a lot of great games between these 2 and everybody else in the field as well throughout the weekend. This is a 30-game event in total. We had 24 preliminary rounds. Dave Wiegand finishing first in the top 24 games. Kolton finishing 4th, and that's why they're doing battle right now, the 1 seed and 4 seed in the playoffs. All right. Conrad says that the Game 3s in Division 2 between Lindsay and Io and Kevin and Vera, both very close. So we're going for maximum drama in Division 2. And it looks like, all right, so an update from the Kevin Fraley versus Austin Shin game is that Kevin went into a pre-endgame situation where he needed to block the only bingo line. He burned his blank for only 18 points in an effort to block the bingo, and it appears that that block will work, and it is likely that Kevin is going to pull that game out by blocking Austin's bingos at the end. So everything I'm hearing, little bits and pieces of updates here and there from the annotators, is that Kevin has the advantage and a real chance to win that series 2-0, but not over till it's over. We have not confirmed yet that Kevin gets that win. We'll see what happens there. I see Dave Wiegand wandering back into the shot. Perhaps he's ready to start game 3 fairly soon. And if he does, we'll bring you the updates right away. Looks like Dave and the director, Conrad, are having a little chat there. You can see Vera behind us playing that game 3 against Kevin, with Kevin on the right side of the table just barely out of the shot. Very curious to know what's going on in that game. So, yeah, still waiting on that final score. All right, Kevin Fraley has defeated Austin Shin 2-0. That is confirmed by Conrad, the director. So we have ourselves our first finalist, Kevin Fraley. What a run he's been on. You know, he had a really tough first day of the tournament. I think he was 3-5. Then he went 8-0, including a win over Dave Wiegand on the stream in round 16 on the second day. Surged into the top couple of players. Ended up finishing second in the preliminary rounds. And now Kevin Fraley is your very first finalist on the weekend. It'll be Kevin in the finals playing for the title of North American College Champion against either Dave or Kolton. And we're going to watch game 3 right here live on the stream to find out who goes on to face Kevin in the finals. It looks like both players are wandering back into the shot. We see Kolton sitting at the table and Dave getting ready to do the same. Yeah, seeing some speculation in chat that Kolton is a top 5 to 10 player in the U.S. Yeah, I mean, he's a really, really good player, one of the best for sure. You know, the best in the U.S. is a very competitive list, though. I mean, these two guys are up there for sure. There's a lot of other big names, people like Conrad, like Jesse Day, like Will Anderson, like Austin. It's a loaded list, the best players in the U.S. So, all right. So it looks like tiles are going in the bag, and Kolton is mixing them up. It'll be Dave going first. One of the advantages that Dave earned by finishing first in the preliminary rounds is he gets to go first in both game 1 and game 3 of the playoff matches. It's kind of like in sports when you like finish in first place in your league, you get home field advantage in the playoffs. That's kind of what this is. He's got the going first advantage. All right, so looks like these two guys are getting ready to get started, and we're going to go ahead and start this game. Sounds like Matt is not back yet, but that's okay. I can just talk by myself for a little bit.
Yeah, Matt sucks anyway. We don't need him.
Oh, man, you're back. I hate you. All right. Yeah. So, Matt, while you were gone, we got an update from Table 2. Kevin Fraley has swept Austin Shin. Austin is out. So we're going to have...
The scoring stopped.
The scoring stopped, sadly, for Austin.
All right.
So we're going to have Kevin Fraley in the finals against the winner of this game.
And congratulations to Kevin, our first finalist here from Seattle, Washington. And one of these two gentlemen will be the second one. Dave to play first. Latex looks like his option here, right? Anything else I'm missing?
Don't think so. Looks like latex. Yeah. Oh, latex and telex, because those are both 40-point plays. But probably keeping the lead of EN a little bit better than AN. And there's not really much difference in terms of defensive value. They both put the same pattern of vowels and consonants next to double letter squares and whatnot.
Kolton found some garbage. Dave's going to have 40 points. So this is an early advantage for Dave. But, of course, it's not all over until the fat lady sings. And my mother is not singing yet. Can I diss my own mom? Is that fine?
You can do whatever you want. It's a free country.
That's right. All right. So latex, the opening for Dave, and ABEINOO, a bunch of vowels for Kolton on the first turn. We'll have some high scoring plays. I think the most compelling one is
BONIE, the 4-letter word or 5-letter word playing beneath latex with 4 overlaps for 31. Maybe you play oboe instead, OBOE, to shed another vowel. But that's a 9-point sacrifice to hold AIN over AO. Both good plays here.
For sure. So I'm getting some questions in chat about the Division II playoffs. Hello to Jomi. Jomi, how you doing, man? So what we know right now is that there are 2 series tied 1-1. Kevin Schutz is playing Vera Bigall. That series is 1-1. And Lindsay Shin is playing Ayotunde Adeyeri, and that series is 1-1. If anybody has any... Oh, Vera lost. Okay. So Kevin has defeated Vera, and we have 2 finalists named Kevin, 1 in each division. Kevin Fraley in D1 and Kevin Schutz in D2.
Good tournament to be.
Is there any update on Lindsay Shin versus Io, or are they still playing? I don't know about that. I'll have to see if Conrad has some updates for us.
All right, look what Kolton just did.
Kolton played oboe.
Yeah, Dave had polenta, but he also had the double-double antelope, and that still plays after Kolton's play. OBO takes the back L, and antelope now is an even more devastating 96-point double-double. Dave will waste no time playing it. That's a killer, man. Most of his plays knock this out and force Dave to play polenta for 60-something. He'll get 96 instead. Big swing already.
Yikes. And he's also not drawn very well after playing oboe. 5 vowels now, a lot of duplicates. Not fun.
Yeah, not the start Kolton was hoping for. He faces an uphill battle now to face Kevin Fraley in the finals, 19-136.
Oh, he does have one really nice play, though, that's going to bail him out of this wreck in a very high-scoring fashion.
Ooh, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to wait for him to find it and spoil it. Or chat.
Yeah, looks like the Adam has found it in chat. Yeah, Xenia, Xenia, with all the overlaps, making obole, OBOLE. 41 points just for playing off a couple 4 1-pointers. That is a really nice play.
And AER is a good flexible leave. Kolton needs to find this play.
Absolutely. All right, update from chat on Division 2 is that Lindsay versus Io in Game 3 is too close to call. Wow. So we have 2 Kevins already in the finals. We had 2 Shins in the semifinals. But right now we've got the final Shin fighting to survive, as Austin was already knocked out and Lindsay is in a too close to call Game 3.
Kolton has spotted Xenia.
Oh, good job by you, Kolton. Nice play.
Kolton. That is way better than his other options. Great job, Kolton. And Dave now, I think he's going to play YEZ and YEA for 41 points in that spot that was exposed. RRSU is not the best leave, but that is just so many points. If he wants to hold on to that powerful Z, he can also play Serry, SERRY, with 4 overlaps next to Xenia. That one would be 38 and holds UZ.
Yeah, not sure what you're going to do with that UZ, but it is interesting. The thing about the Z, the Z is such a powerful tile. There's just new hotspots opening up for it all the time. You just never know what good things might happen when you hold on to that Z. But on this board, I'm just not seeing what it might be.
Not yet, but, options can always manifest. At the same time, Yez looks so good.
Yeah, Yez looks pretty good. Funny that both players can bail themselves out of a bad rack with a score of exactly 41, because Kolton got 41 for Xenia, too.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Not the most common score in the world.
No.
You see a lot of 24s and 28s and 32s in Scrabble. 41, a more obscure score.
Here's one more fun play for Dave. What if he plays Surrey, SURREY, next to Xenia, stringing that Y in the triple-triple line? It opens a lot of variance, but it also exposes huge scoring opportunities for that Z, and I think he's going to be able to hit back with the bomb a lot.
Interesting. Wow. All right, Yez is the choice. Dave just keeps it simple, goes for points. Can't fault him at all for that.
I don't think you need to get cute there. I think that's a fine choice by Dave.
Yep. So no bingo for Kolton. Pretty good looking rack. Looks like it might bingo, but it doesn't. And a lot of kind of, ooh, yeah, Zarina's nice.
Zarina's very nice. I mean, it kind of forks off or blocks off the left side of the board with the placement of that C, but it could still be opened up. 2H is still out.
Yeah, H's are going to make it interesting.
Finca is another play that'll make it interesting. Finca down to the A in Antelope. Both plays do exactly what Kolton wants to do to the board, open things wide up with the deficit he faces. Could also consider FACIA instead of Finca, but only 4 A's unseen to Kolton. I'm holding one here.
Meanwhile, look at Dave's rack. He's drawn the first blank. You got to be happy if you're Dave, up by over 100 already, and you've drawn a blank. Very good position to be in if you're him.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to see the players split the blanks in this last one. Kolton drew both in game 1 and 1. Dave drew both in game 2. And of course, both players were still fighting to the end, but let's see a split here.
That'd be nice. Yeah, no matter what happens, I would just love to see a close, exciting finish. Nobody likes blowouts in a battle like this. You want to see some drama.
Absolutely. Well, I think Dave would be fine with the blowout, but maybe. And Chris Wiegand.
All right.
Welcome, Chris. I'm sure you'd be fine with that too.
So Farsi opens the triple. Dave does have the blank, but kind of a terrible rack to go with it. Like that W and the double duplicate R's need to be dealt with. One option is just to fish the W. You can just put it underneath O-ball, making toe and 1 for 28.
Yeah, you got to do the math. How often does IRRSU hit? That looks like it hits with a lot. Pretty much any vowel will hit a bingo for you. T's, N's, lots of stuff. P's.
I'm looking for triples through the F. There are 4 of them. There's one of them is burrfish, BURR fish. There's also ursiform, scurfier, and a surefire. Those are all triples that you might draw if you fish the W.
Awesome. Man, that's freaking awesome. So 28 points and fish for a triple. You know Kolton can't really block that with the deficit he has. Oh, man. Go big or go home, Dave. Fish the W. I dare you.
I want him to draw the B or the H and play burrfish. That would be an incredible way to win this match if you can play burrfish for a triple.
Make your call. Is he drawing the B or the H?
H. I don't know.
I agree.
You agree H?
Okay. Oh, there's an S. That's probably still going to work.
It's not one of the triples, but it's still going to give him something.
And that is how you need to approach these one-tile fishes, is look at which of the letters are and aren't going to hit a bingo for you next turn. Calculate the probability. If you're missing bingos with most of the vowels, it's probably not worth fishing one tile because vowels are going to be your draws 40% of the time. But Dave was probably 70 or 80% to hit something here. As he's done, he'll have fish ears and antelopes or some other options as well.
Yeah, bristers, spurries, surprise. That's a cool word.
It looks like Conrad is saying game 3 between Lindsay and Io is going down to the wire. So we'll chat and get every update we can on that. Exciting finish for sure in Division 2.
Seeing the question in chat, has there already been a result in the other semi? Answer is yes. So Austin Shin's been eliminated. Kevin Fraley knocked him out with a 2-0 sweep. So it will be Kevin Fraley in the final competing for the title of North American College Champion. He will face the winner of this game you're watching right now between Dave Wiegand and Kolton Koehler. 3 players left, Kevin, Dave, and Kolton. That's it.
Man, Kevin has really had a lot of success recently. He had a great showing this summer at both the World Scrabble Championship and especially at the SPC, both of those in Las Vegas in July. And he's had a lot more success here at the NAC. Man, Kevin must be putting in a lot of time. He's got a lot of results to show for it.
And a crazy run in this tournament for Kevin. I was saying earlier when you were out of the room that he started this tournament 3-5. He was like toward the bottom of the standings. And then he won all 8 games on the second day, including a really just banger of a game in the final game of the day against Dave on the stream. So, yeah, he went from 3-5 to 11-5 and was all of a sudden in second place. And he's basically been in second place the whole way since then. So crazy turnaround after a tough start.
And Conrad pointing out Kevin is fairly new to the CSW scene as well, and he played some NWL this summer as well, but that is not holding him back at all. Impressive display of separating the lexica and, well, just kicking booty in general from Kevin. Nice job.
Yeah. So Grand comes down for Kolton for 22. And take your pick, Dave. Which bingo do you want to play? You got many options.
They're likely looking for defense here. I think the best option is actually the 79-pointer.
Ooh, yeah.
Wiegand now. That's tough.
It's being pointed out in chat. Yeah. Make the blank a Q and you can play squirrs. What is that word? Ridiculous. Oh, it's a verb. It means to scour. Okay. Words are fun. Words are really fun. Oh, and Dave sees it. He's got squirrs lined up on his rack.
Oh,
grab that marker, circle that Q, and let's go.
Kolton's leaning back in his chair as if Dave has already played the bingo. He's going to make this exact same reaction in just a minute.
Oh, sad. Kolton is sad.
Kolton's like, can I put my Q there and pick up that blank? Is that fine? So squares, very nice from Dave. I think that's so easy to miss. How are you going to think to make that a Q? And yet he sees it, he spots it. Best bingo by 9 points, and it does what he wants to the board. Huge play from Dave. Huge draw from Dave. Huge lead for Dave. And Kolton is going to need a lot of help to get back into this one.
Whew. This tournament format with these best of 3 series, such drama. Like it seemed like Dave was like back up against the wall, almost knocked out when he was down 1-0. But he has fought back. He won game 2, and now he's got a commanding lead in game 3.
Dave freaking Wiegand, man. Never count him out.
Absolutely not. So did we still not get an update from the Io versus Lindsay match? It was too close to call. Still the last update that we heard. I guess that's more a question for Connor than for anybody else, since we're not in the room.
And
I am 34 floors up the stairs, so I can't really see what's going on.
What kind of excuse is that, Evans?
Well, I think it's a pretty good one. You have to have really good eyesight to see 34 floors away.
Scrub.
Like just like read Lindsay's score sheet from that high up. That'll be hard.
And too close to call gives back flashbacks to 2016 that I don't want to talk about. So let's use different words.
Good call.
God. Okay, Kolton. I don't even know what Kolton does. I think QUA at the top just opens this board in exactly the way he's got to. You've got to keep some scoring pressure on and just kind of hope you get lucky at this point. Sad, but I think you play Qua up at the top.
Seems good.
You can play Polka, Pulka, in the same spot, but DQ, not a very good leave at all. 2 U's to be drawn plus blank, but not a lot of good places to use that Q on this board. So I don't know. Kolton's got an uphill battle ahead of him. Yeah, there comes Qua.
Yeah, good play. So Kolton down by 133, it looks like. Not a good spot to be in here, but he's not done yet. Still a lot of Scrabble to be played.
EEJHMNY is the rack for Dave now, and he's going to look to cash in this J for more points. As long as Dave can just score 30 points a play, he's probably going to win this game and appear in the finals. So if you make a play like LYME and Xenial, seems okay. No JQXZ unseen to you, and you've got the J on your rack. So I'm not afraid of getting hit back hard there, and I like setting myself up. Pretty good option.
Yeah, that's nice. There's a mention in the chat that you can fish away the Y and try to draw Mijin here. MIJNHEER.
That is a thing you could do.
I'm not sure where you're saying that's going to play. Like you're going to try to antelope her? I don't know.
Oh, you're going to play with age and RE.
I see. Oh, there you go. Not very nice. Okay.
Yeah, when you can make a 1-tile fish, you always should. 6 and 51, that's pretty good. Go for it.
That's pretty good. I apologize for the pronunciation. I've already established this many times this weekend. I can't say words. Please, no offenses intended. I'm just a dope. That's all it is. All right, you cringe and let it go. I'll take it.
Well,
Appreciate the
hopefully
letting
he
it go.
doesn't take the fish and hit it, because then we're going to have to try to pronounce it again. what is it? Is the J makes a Y sound, something like Minear? Tell us, enlighten us, chat.
I tend to err on the side of like pronouncing words in such a way that makes it obvious what letters are in them. Like Scrabble players do this a lot. Like think about words that have the suffix man in them, for example. Like we say foreman, even though like in normal conversation you just be like foreman. And the reason you do that is to make it clear that there's an A and not an E in that word. Like we just pronounce things in a you can tell what letters are in it sort of way, if that makes sense. All right, so it looks like Jenny is the play from Dave. Nice hook of the N on Farsi to make Farson. That's cool.
That is cool. And just kind of keeping this board tight, keep it closed. You don't need to open anything new for your opponent in this commanding position. If you're Dave, just hold on, make Kolton create some opportunities for himself. He's got a good way to do that. He can play Kip and Lop here. 2S is unseen. He doesn't have either one right now, but you've got to pray and hope that you get lucky in situations like this. If you're Kolton, I think you've got to try to create some life on that left side of the board. I think Kip looks like a good play, and cross your fingers and hope to pick up an S.
Sounds about right. So still waiting on updates from Lindsay versus Io. I don't think we've heard anything yet about who won game 3, if anyone. Perhaps it's still up in the air. I don't know. I don't see any results that are like officially in the spreadsheet yet, so maybe they're still playing. Oh, so much drama, so much intrigue, so much tension. I can feel it even here from 34 floors up the stairs.
Lots of money at stake too, man. $3,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, in Seattle, that can be like a week's rent, you know? You could live somewhere for a week.
Is this tournament downtown in Seattle?
Yeah, we are right downtown at the Crown Plaza, a very nice hotel, right in the heart of everything. It's pretty nice.
Wonderful.
We've had a lot of easy walks to great restaurants, great breweries, great all sorts of fun stuff.
And this is not the only Coco event with great restaurants and great breweries. I'm going to plug it one more time before I'm off the screen. But January, 3rd week, MLK weekend, January 13, 14, 15, something like that. The Crescent City Cup in New Orleans. Another big Scrabble tournament, one of the biggest of the year, and certainly the most fun of the year. No offense to every other tournament director out there, but we'll have 2 Collins divisions is the plan in Crescent City. So you won't be getting crushed by Dave Wiegand if you're kind of newer to the game and looking to put some training wheels on. But there's no shortage of great beer, great food, great company, great vibes in that city. We'll have it all streamed for those unable to make it, but check out flights. They're pretty cheap. Check out that hotel. The Drury is awesome and just a short walk from Bourbon Street and Harrah's. Come on down to New Orleans, man. Let's see all y'all there. It's going to be a great time. Lindsay, Austin, Lila, Kate, Tim all do a great job with that event every year. Check it out. Google Crescent City Cup Coco. Find some more information, and I'll see y'all there.
Yeah, you see the pin post right now in the chat is the Coco website because you can go there and see the live coverage of this tournament. But you can also, in just a couple of clicks, go to our tournaments page and see what's upcoming, including, as Matt was saying, New Orleans, as well as a host of other fun places like Hood River, Oregon, and Austin, Texas, and whatnot. So, also, the California Open is next month. That is coming up real soon. California Open has moved south. It used to be in San Francisco. It's now in Palm Springs in Southern California. That's going to be a fun event. Hit it up if you are interested in a weekend in sunny Southern California in December. Who wouldn't be? Think about it.
Or getting into New Orleans in the heart of winter for some of our northern folks, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit chilly there, but other times it's, 55 to 60 Fahrenheit, 15 or 20 Celsius. I'm sure our Canadians would love some of that in the middle of the winter.
Absolutely.
And Dave has drawn Evictee. This game's done unless Kolton randomly blocks it for no reason, which maybe he plays Iwi and does, but
I'm seeing our first Dave Wiegand stop, he's already dead of today. We saw quite a few of those yesterday, but our first one today as Dave is just wailing on Kolton at this point. Kolton just hasn't had the right tiles to do much about it.
And so Iwi is the play. I'm going to give Kolton just a little bit of life. He doesn't know what he's just done, but we do.
Yeah, seeing more support for the Crescent City Cup in chat. Yes, New Orleans is going to be awesome. If you can
Always.
play, you should show up and play. If you can't make it to New Orleans, you can watch the stream. The best thing about the stream is there won't be either one of us morons on there because we'll be too busy playing New Orleans to stream it. So
I don't know if I would call what I do on a Scrabble board in New Orleans playing, more just like trying to sit up straight and make words on the board. But I will be sitting in a chair and allegedly spelling words against certain folks in that room.
Matt will be vomiting all over the board, both literally and figuratively.
Yes, correct. Wouldn't be the first time. I think there's a Coco rule for it. If not, you should probably make one before that tournament, Evans.
What rule is that exactly?
The rule where your opponent vomits on the board, like how do you adjudicate that? Do you get
Just okay.
points or
I think in New Orleans you win the game if you vomit.
can we get a confirmation? Do we have a Lindsay, Lila, Kate, anyone? I gotta try this.
All right, let's see here.
Gilted. There's one bingo for Kolton. 69 points. Nice. And he's going to need probably two more to have a chance in this game. But he's still got a blank that he can go find. Dave doesn't have it. Let's see what he draws. Got to be something good to have any life left in this game. Got to find that blank or draw a bingo and leave the blank in the bag for next turn. Lots of vowels. He's got to dodge some. Lots of floaters. That's going to help him.
I can't handle the suspense of watching Kolton draw because he'll like pause and like track a little bit and we won't see his tiles for a long time. It's always killing me when he does that. Duplicate R is not great. Duplicate I is not great. Show me a blank. He's got an A. Okay. Doesn't look like that's much of anything, unfortunately, for Kolton. And you really, at this point, just can't afford to have turns where you're not scoring well. You're down by so much. You got to keep battling.
This is going to be I try to open up the board in some ridiculous way. I wonder if there's like a 6 through the G he can play that forks it next turn, but oh no.
So we're seeing the update in chat on Division 2. It will be a final between Kevin Schutz and Ayotunde Adeyeri with the win over Lindsay Shin. So unfortunately for the Shin family, both of them eliminated in the semifinals. But they both get to play a third place match.
Fortunately for the Shin family, both of them made it to the semifinals. So
absolutely
both good showings against very good fields, and that Division 2 final of Kevin and Ayo is going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, seeing a lot of congrats to Ayo in the chat. Well deserved. He's a solid player in that Division 2 field. He's been playing well all weekend long and deserving finalist. All right, back to Dave here. He's played Covet. Looks like a solid option. Why not? Scores some points, blocks up some stuff a little bit.
Kolton's got a spot Aircon here through the C that we just exposed. That's going to create an annoying bingo line, a high-scoring bingo line, and score well enough. He's got to spot Aircon to have any chance in this game, I think.
Yeah, probably.
But Dave's drawn ovulates, so the game is over. Congrats to Dave.
Jeez.
He will be playing against Kevin Fraley in our finals.
Oh, jeez. Is there any way that Kolton can block that? Not anything good, anyway.
You can play Air underneath Gilted for like no reason, or Noir, but you can't make that play in Kolton's situation.
Yeah, so Lila points out in the chat that Lindsay and Austin are both still in the tournament because they are both playing in the third place match. So just don't forget, we're going to have in both divisions 1 and 2, the two players that lose their semifinals will play in a match for third place. So most likely we're going to have Austin versus Kolton in the third place match in Division 1, while Lindsay takes on Vera in Division 2.
And I can't get over the incredible names who didn't make it into the semifinals in this tournament. There's just so much in the room. I mean, Alex Seaholm is a player you never want to count out. John O'Laughlin, we saw make some really awesome plays on stream as well. Like I could go on and on and on. You read that list, I don't know how many times yesterday, and I just
Yeah.
been on the floor over and over. Like, how do you contend with these folks?
And it's crazy because because of the format of this tournament where the top 4 make the playoffs, when you looked at the standings with like 2 or 3 rounds to go yesterday, there were like 12 people that were all within like a win or 2 of 4th place. So you read off this list of like 12 names and like any of them could still win the tournament with only a couple of rounds to go. It's crazy. It was really cool that, we had, guys like Dave and Kevin who were Gibsonites for a spot in the playoffs early, but there was such drama in the race for like 4th place, There was a really great game between Austin and Rob Rubinski with 4th place on the line in the final round yesterday. Alec
Hey,
also
I'm
had a chance
interrupting for a moment. Look what Kolton just did.
he just gave Dave a place to play out raves.
That is exactly right. So it's over, folks. It's not quite a triple, but it is not going to feel good. And Kolton sees now he's done. He knows it. As soon as Dave puts an O in that spot, you know what's happening. Good showing from Kolton. He played some really good Scrabble. Mudlark was a really awesome play, but the tiles have just not been there for him for games 2 and 3, and he got daved. He did find the blank. He'll make it respectable, but little too late for him.
Chat saying that Colton should just play Dr. Bing, just DRB I and blank.
Good. I don't
Best
think
play.
Dave we can challenge at this point. He just let him have it.
Yeah, why not? Also, chat saying he almost has Yardbird. That would be the second Yardbird on stream this weekend. John O'Loughlin had the awesome find of Yardbird from a Y, making a blank B. Just incredible. That was yesterday, I believe.
I put the commentator's hex. I'm like, how is he going to bingo? What, bingo from the Y? And then he immediately draws Yardbird, spots him and throws it down. So
Awesome.
All I got to do is keep casting my voodoo. You can tell I'm already in New Orleans talking about voodoo and beer. Come on.
Yeah, just get an oyster reference in there and you're all set.
Oh, my goodness. Please, and thank you. Oyster shooters with Dave Wiegand. Absolutely.
I just want like a giant bowl of red beans and rice. That's what I'm craving right now.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Just get some hot sauce on it, too.
Yeah, you know how to do it. Okay.
And
so a lot of conversation about birds in chat. There's ant bird, there's rain bird. Yeah, all sorts of bird words. What does Kolton actually have? I haven't checked what his bingos are.
I don't care. There's 6 tiles in the bag. He can bingo, but he can't draw a second bingo to win the game. You can try to do something cute and open a triple and throw out a Hail Mary, but not if there's 6 in the bag.
So we should just play Dr. Bing then. Okay.
Brandy's through the E at the bottom looks okay. It's like what Rainbird is good or something through the I and Gilted. You play something, but we did see the blanks split in this game, so I got what I asked for.
Yeah. And we did not see a close finish, so I did not get what I asked for. Everything's right in the world, right? You're happy and I'm miserable.
Yes, I would prefer it no other way. Speaking of making people happy, I'm going to be happy watching the finals in just a few minutes. When is that going to start, Evans? These players have to go eat some lunch. You've got to go eat some lunch. When should everybody be back to watch the Kevin Fraley Dave Wiegand finals?
We're doing 90-minute lunch breaks. So the 3-game series here is from 9 to 12, 90 minutes off, and then 1:30 Pacific time, 4:30 Eastern. You can calculate other time zones. I'm too lazy.
And to confirm, Evans, it's going to be another best of 3 for the finals, correct?
Correct. So best of 3 series all around, just like this round. We're going to have best of 3 final between Dave and Kevin, best of 3 third place match between Kolton and Austin, best of 3 final between Kevin Schutz and Ayatunde in Division 2, and then best of 3 third place game between Vera and Lindsay. I think I got all that right, didn't I? Check me on that, chat.
That sounds correct.
Okay.
Which is shocking given who said it.
And no, they do not draw for first. It is the higher seeded player who goes first in these matches. And what I mean by seed is based on how they performed in the first 24 games. So Dave is the higher seed compared to Kevin. Can I do this? Austin is a higher seed than Kolton. Lindsay is a higher seed than Vera. This is hard. Kevin's a higher seed than Ayatunde. I got them all. Okay. What happened in Vera's last game? Vera, unfortunately, came up short against Ayotunde. Ayotunde wins the series 2-1 and will advance to the final and play Kevin Schutz.
We've got some good representation at this tournament. We've got players from all over. We've featured 2 guys from the Pacific Northwest, from Portland, and Dave and Kolton, but we've got a lot of talent from a lot of places. Austin and Lindsay making the trip up from New Orleans. Vera, coming down from Canada for this?
I believe Toronto, yeah.
Yeah. So lots of talent from lots of different places coming out to Seattle for this event.
It's almost like it's the North American College Championship. Maybe
Almost.
that's why there's college players from all over North America here. I don't know. That's just a thought.
Where does Ayotunde hail from?
I want to say New Jersey. I think that was
Okay.
true at one point. I haven't checked whether he's moved or anything, but last I checked, New Jersey.
That's a long flight for him, but going to pay for itself.
Absolutely. Looks like Kolton is looking at some bird words here, maybe rainbird or something. Rainbird plays, right? Through the eye? Yeah.
Yeah. It opens the oh, he's going to do something cute. I like this. Just absolute Hail Mary. It doesn't matter. Maybe Dave falls out of his chair and has a stroke right now. Maybe Dave tries to block with FA and IF and I draw a miracle 9. Trying to induce an error. Dave is not the guy who's going to make that error, but Rainbird is 100% loss. This is a 99.9% loss. But
Yeah.
team swag.
It's being pointed out in the chat that I did indeed fail to get all those matchups right. I think I said that Io played in both of the semifinals. So the actual thing that happened is that Io played Lindsay and Kevin Schutz played Vera. Excuse me. I got most of the things right, like 90%.
That's a pass.
Yeah, that's an A-.
God, Kolton, stop. Why did you do that? Why did you draw those tiles? There's an E in the bag, and you wanted to leave it there.
He does have Ings words, right? He can play like holdings. But yeah, not going to triple. And as Action Triple points out, even a triple would still lose. He's down by 200. I guess if it had been like a really high-scoring triple, I don't even know what that would be. Also, Dave is a person who exists and can block it. Anybody with a pulse, I think, would block that triple.
And Dave has defo done that.
Nicely done. Yeah, defo and adverb meaning definitely. So it doesn't take an S. It does take one hook. That would be a G for defog.
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 I had a Dungeons and Dragons character named Og. He was a half-orc, and if he lost his hearing, he would be Defog. I'm sorry, this is not a fun game to commentate, folks. Dave just scored 500 for like the 18th time this tournament, and Kolton struggling to break 3 or draw vowels.
I mean, we could use this time to like talk about what a great player Dave Wiegand is, but we've done that like 8,000 times already this weekend.
Ooh, I know
Running
what
out of
we
ways
could
to
do.
state that.
What if we talked the really cool tournaments one last time for those just now hopping on stream? We've got a bunch of Coco tournaments coming up. California Open from Palm Springs next month. Crescent City Cup from New Orleans in January. Austin, Texas. Come see the full eclipse and play a Scrabble tournament at the same time. That's in April. Check it out. We've got the coverage and the Coco website linked in the Twitch chat. For those of you new to the sport or kind of checking us out for the first time, there's nothing like tournament Scrabble. The people you meet, the ambiance, the after-hours shenanigans that go on, and that top level of play that goes on over the board. You really got to check some of these out, or check out the commentary and the coverage, if nothing else. I believe that'll be right here on Coco Scrabble's Twitch stream, correct, Evans?
Indeed, yeah. I would also just add, in addition to all those tournaments that Matt just listed, we're always looking to have more. And if there's anybody out there that wants to be a volunteer to help us create more tournaments, if you want to organize stuff, if you want to direct stuff, we love people who are willing to do that kind of thing. So hit me up. I'm Evans. Talk to me. I'd love to chat.
Yeah, they've made it so easy to run tournaments. They've got a seamless integration. You know, they take payments online for you and pay out the prizes for you. They've got it so all you have to do is input the name of players, and everything else runs itself with the tournament. Coco's done an awesome job making Scrabble accessible. And check out some of their events, man.
Yeah, all of your It's all data entry. It's all automated. All you got to do is click a button on a spreadsheet, and like all your pairings and stuff are automatically spat out. There's no data entry. There's no slips. There's none of that. So, trying to make things for volunteers as easy as possible because we love to have any help we can get with creating really cool Con Scrabble tournaments all over North America. We got a bunch on the calendar already. We'd love to have even more. So, if you want to help with that, seriously, let's talk. All right, 522 to 304. Dave is annihilating Kolton here in game 3, and I think it's going to be mercifully for Kolton over pretty soon.
Dave has got to use that 90-minute lunch break to procure that 6-pack of IPAs just in case he does win the best of 3 against Kevin after this. We can't have a tournament with the Dave Wiegand victory without a 6-pack of beer to celebrate in the hallway afterwards.
Of course not. Of course not. Maybe he's like a magician who just like makes six packs of beer appear out of nowhere.
Makes 500 points appear on the Scrabble board and a 6-pack appear out of nowhere. Those are 2 very good skills to have for a musician.
All right, so Kolton is just taking his time thinking.
Kolton's enjoying his last 3 minutes of fame.
I think the third place game has a lot of glory in it.
Oh, I agree. Just look at the players who aren't playing in the third place game. You've got to feel good about your performance anyway.
Yeah. All right, Algid comes down. Sad Kolton marks his sad blank.
And Happy Dave makes his happy outplay.
All right, we're going to have the final score on your screen in just a few seconds. Oh, maybe it's on your screen already. Is it 522, 331? I think it is. So congratulations to Dave Wiegand coming back from down 1-0, wins game 2, wins game 3, and in dramatic fashion, stamps his ticket to the finals. It'll be Dave versus Kevin Fraley coming up in about an hour and 45 minutes right here on this stream.
This is going to be it for me today. Evans, you guys have the dream team on headset for that finals, right? You've got Will Anderson and Conrad Bassett-Bouchard. Are you freaking kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
That's awesome. So y'all, I know at home, you're going to set a little reminder. You're going to keep this Twitch tab open, and we're going to see you back here in 105 minutes for that best of 3 finals. $3,000 US at stake for Dave of Portland and Kevin of California.
Gonna be great. Can't wait to watch it. It's gonna be so much fun. So yeah, we'll be right back here at 1:30 local time here in Seattle, 4:30 Eastern. Gonna be great. We're gonna have Dave versus Kevin Fraley for the championship and $3,000. That's gonna be awesome.
1:15 Eastern as these games.
What? We did not agree to that. What is this 1:15 nonsense?
Well, he's a director because you're in here.
I'm your boss, Conrad. You're fired. 1:15.
Well,
whatever.
1:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific, 4:15 Eastern. That is now when we're going to have that final best of 3. So that is when you'll need to set your timers. Not 105 minutes, but 90 minutes from now. We will see y'all then.
All right. Peace out, guys.